I'm so scared of getting used to this. All the vines that keep you tethered in your room. Well, someday both of us are leaving here, but for now I'll just bring this seed to you. Will you meet me in the daylight like we did before? Then I felt you on my shoulder and you weren't suffering anymore. You said I'm sorry that you worry, but don't apologize. I told you to forget me, but you stayed by my side when I said, don't try to make yourself remember. Darling, don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, and when we're gone, everything goes on.
Oh, greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a beautiful, beautiful series. Split 5 is coming to a swift conclusion. We have two series left to play of this exhilarating split. I think, obviously, you can always argue level of this split to previous splits, but one thing that isn't arguable is how close and how intense this split has been compared to the others. I don't think we have had a season like this in SLE where at this point anyone can take it home. It's anyone's title, um, and so we've got the semi-final. The winner of this will match up against Good Chi Yin in the grand finals of the SLE. I am joined here by Dasa, and talk to me because we've already seen these guys play against each other in the upper bracket.
We did. It's gonna be a rematch between these two. Of course, Gucci already secured themselves a spot in the finals, in the upper bracket finals, against Blazing Pandas, which did end up being a 3-0 for them, which sent Blazing Pandas into the lower bracket finals, semi-finals, whatever you want to call it. But Blazing Pandas versus Wacky Race today, of course, like you said, team that has faced off against each other before. Blazing Pandas last time around ended up taking the series 3-2 and Sovanix. I do have a quick question for you. Do you think that is gonna influence the teams today? Do you think it is gonna give Blazing Pandas an edge, considering they got the win last time, or do you think Wacky Race is gonna be unfazed in today's series? Okay, never mind.
Oh, sorry, my mic is muted. That happens a lot. But no, I was saying how I think after the last series, against Vitagen, I feel like Wacky Rates have rebirthed themselves, and K's Mace is performing in a way that I've never seen him perform before. He seems to be getting his signature Scion way too many times, and I don't think Mishidako is the kind of top laner who will drop the ego and ban the Scion out. He comes across to me as the kind of guy who would be like, I'll beat him anyway, regardless of him being on his OTP. He's going to leave it open. And obviously, then the matchup, I can't say too much on that one, but we'll have to see. But of course, Blazing Panda is a team that we can't count out a lot of strong names on their team. But I think a lot of it is down to who's prepared to face up against each other more than the other.
I mean, definitely so. And you talked about upsets earlier as well, right? You talked about this being a split that really no one expected the results we had. To start off with, Revel Lynx finished first in the regular season. They didn't even make it to the upper bracket finals or the semi bracket or the lower bracket semifinals. They got knocked out very early on in their B1 match against none other than Wacky Race, who have ended up here today as well. So this has definitely been a season of upsets, and it has been, I think, so far a great split. And it has been a really exciting split to watch as well. But like you said, Sovanix, this split is slowly but surely coming to a final. It's gonna be our second to last series of Split 5, and I think we can get away with draft. Of course, it's gonna be replay cast for today, which means we will just have a quick look at draft, not have it live. But with the first sightings already seeing an Orianna, you mentioned the Scion is gonna be locked in this time around as well. And what are your sort of first thoughts heading into this one?
So, I see what Blazing Pandas are doing here. They're trying to ban away Butner, who wasn't there against Vitagen for Wacky Wraith. They had Usejin and Lina playing this time around. Usejin back into the mid lane and Butner back into the bot lane. And so his champions, or his signature champions, Jinx and Vayne, are off the table, which is understandable, but one of another signature champion of Wacky Rates is Usejin's Orianna and K's May Scion. So those are open. They get locked in. I do like the Wukong ban, but I don't like that the Orianna was left open. But I do like the Anivia response. Mainly because Anivia is not a champion we see too much. However, I will say, I do actually think Orianna beats Anivia in this matchup. It is a skill matchup, but obviously Orianna is just a little bit more powerful in the meta right now.
Yeah, definitely so. And I think one of the advantages you have, you said it yourself, not a lot of people play Anivia at the moment. So maybe this is something unexperienced, something that on the side of Wacky Rates they haven't really seen before, which means they might not really know how to play against it, might not have the answers for it. Like you said, it is a skill matchup. In the mid lane, Anivia, of course, Granted, not in the meta. I would argue at the moment not really seen picked that often, but still has great scaling, has great zone control with her ultimate as well as the wall, being able to get some creative plays going for the side of Blazing Pandas. But alongside the Anivia, it is going to be Maokai and Camille, as well as Durrell, which I think gives them great setup. It gives them great ganks, and I'm expecting for Blazing Pandas to potentially look for some early game action with the amount of CC that they have.
Yeah, plenty of CC on their side. I think one thing, actually, I was speaking to Sench about this, about how Ivern in the regular season was such a high priority champion, it kind of fell off in playoffs. It wasn't as prioritized as much by teams in the playoff runs, but it's picked up game 1 here by Robbery, and well, Wukong banned out, so he wanted to go for the Ivern. It was the other tree in the game was picked away, so you know you gotta go for the other guy. And so I do actually think team composition wise, I think Wacky Racer's team composition for their team makes a lot of sense.
I definitely think so as well, and like you said, a little bit surprised that the Orianna does end up going through. Of course, very strong champion in the meta at the moment. I wanna argue the strongest sort of control mage in the mid lane. At the moment, we've seen it played a whole lot in the SLE Split 5 so far, and it's gonna be paired up this time with not that much playmaking on the side of Wacky Raids. Generally, you see it paired alongside things like the Jarvan. We've seen it paired up alongside things like the Wukong, the Monkey in the jungle. This time it is the Ivern, which granted doesn't give you a great amount of setup. But Sovanix, enough talking about the draft. We are underway for game number 1. And quickly, before we get into the action, give me your predictions for today.
Wow. I'm not too sure, because it's one of those things that is hard to predict. Lower bracket run, it's essentially the same matchup as before. I'm gonna go for a Blazing Pandas prediction, just because they won it last time.
I think that's definitely fair. Already seeing the side of Blazing Pandas, an aggressive invade coming out of them towards the top side of the map. This time not gonna be able to find anyone, but again, they have so much CC on their side, so it is good to see that they are willing to play aggressive. And yeah, I do have to side with the Blazing Pandas just because we've seen this matchup before. We've seen them beat Lucky Race before. I think it gives them a great mental advantage. It was a 3-2 last time. We'll see if we can get 5 games out of us this time on a round. But you do see both the junglers starting on top side. Of course, Robbery on the Ivern is going to have a bit more of a creative clear, so to speak, should be able to make his way down towards that bot side very quickly. But Jonathan Isaac going to be pathing into the Rel, which doesn't really surprise me, considering this Sion is going to be relatively not hard to kill necessarily, but it's not really going to matter if you kill a Sion early on into the game, because he's going to become a tanky monster later on nonetheless. And Mickey D on the Camille can look for some solo kills, but probably is looking to scale up as well.
Yeah, this top lane matchup obviously favored into the Camille, but not in the early stages. I think the common misconception with the tanks into bruisers is that a bruiser should just straight up win. As you can see, actually, Alrat stepping forward aggressively onto Sanex, and they hit level 2 first, which means the Blazing Pandas bot lane are under threat, under siege. A hook lands onto the Rat, and with flashing ghost available, it means he has to use it. Bootner did not quite execute the Twitch, but instead it will be a trade of flashes. The last W not doing enough damage, but a beneficial trade coming out of Wacky Raid's spot lane.
The boomerang is not quite finishing off Sanex there, but a great start right off the bat for Wacky Raids. You can see the flash from Sanex. I was a little bit scared seeing him hold on to it for as long as he did. I feel like it was a little bit late and a little bit ambitious, but this time ends up getting away with it. Butner having to burn both of his summoners as well, while Sanex still keeping on to that goal. So Jonathan Isaac definitely already towards that bot side can look for this Sivir, considering Elrat only level 2, Lantern not available quite yet for this bot lane. I feel like if they can find an early kill onto this Twitch, you can definitely get Sanex snowballing already. But like you said, Sovanix, Mickey D already being very low on HP in this top lane.
Yeah, low HP already, and a potential trade coming in. Mishidaka hit level 4. But no trade for now, and the two junglers now will meet at an impasse at the bot side river. Rubberoo with a level advantage now, throwing some basketballs onto the tree, but we'll just back away because their bot lane does not have priority. So that crab does go to Makai, but you can see Rubberoo will just head over to that top side.
Yeah, should be just a trade of crabs coming on through Jonathan Isaac getting the better end of the deal. Unfortunately, the gank in the bot lane, despite Butner not having summoners, is not gonna work out this time on around as the wave did end up pushing to the bot lane of Wacky Wraiths, but you can already see both of these teams are not scared to act early as well. Gank in the top lane, Mickey D could be in trouble.
Yeah, Michi Darko might be in the face of Robbery. K's Maze mana is low, gonna land the slow and beautiful hook shot to the wall to dodge away from the root. Robbery gonna keep trying to chase him out here, but we'll just back away as Michi Darko arrives to the safety of his turret. Nothing got from that gank as Michi Darko plays the escape pretty well.
Yeah, great 2v1 play coming out of Michidu right there, and a great hookshot as well to get him out of trouble. But so far, Sanix's health bar again quite low in this bot lane. You can see struggling a little bit against the Silver Thresh in this matchup, and again, Rubbery just being the good guy jungler helping Case Maze push that wave in means it's gonna be a reset for the top lane. So far, no kills coming on through a slight CS lead for Case Maze as well as Butner. So far things are looking good for the side of Wacky Wraiths as we are top lane.
First blood coming in from Elrat, and that's the beneficial sort of trade you get of burning the Twitch's flash in the early game. Sanix is going to go down, and Elrat is going to get that first blood in this series.
Elrat is going to pick up first blood. Keep in mind, this Thresh does still have flash. Sanix's flash still down for now, so definitely can look for some more plays, but unfortunately Butner not being able to pick up the kill early on, which does mean is you're gonna be an early boots as well as an early Ruby Crystal coming through for Elrat, gonna make him a little bit more tanky, but no more damage for Butner. Exhaust is gonna come up very soon as well. Robbery heading over towards that top side. TP used in the mid lane for usage and just to get that early reset on in is gonna be able to pick up a tier as well as the Amplifying Tome in his inventory. Should have push pre-6, but now that Randy has hit 6 himself as well, it means the push and receiving that push in the mid lane not gonna be as easy against Anivia, who's got great wave control.
Yeah, fantastic wave control. As soon as Anivia hits level 6, you can essentially just hard shove the wave with your ultimate on repeat. This is essentially where the matchup does get a little bit tricky for the Orianna, but if Ivan provides some support like Robbery is doing around here, then it can be a little bit easy.
Definitely can get a lot easier. You can see Chemtech Drake here is going to be the first Drake on the table. Already started up by the side of Blazing Pandas. They have bot lane prio, they have mid lane prio. This should be easy pickings for them, but Robbery is going to be around if he does want to look for a play or does want to look for something fishy, but Drake already 3k HP. I doubt he's going to want to go for this.
Yeah, I mean, he is around, so we'll have to see if he goes for any sort of contest, but with Sanix dropping the bot lane wave to help his jungler secure this objective, I do believe Blazing Pandas get the first dragon of this best of 5.
First dragon of the series gonna be going down for them. You can see Michidi trying to step into the river. Needs to be careful. Robbery and Case Maze are both around.
Yeah, Robbery is around, and Michi Darko does not know where the Ivan is. Hookshot already used, which means that escape tool is no longer available for Michi Darko. He does have the flash. He uses the Hextech ultimatum defensively. We'll just actually channel the recall, not having to blow the flash as a 3 versus 2 breaks out in the bot lane. Elrat now ticking down to the ignite. Sanix is going to get a kill, and he's going to bounce one back off the deficit that he is currently in. And Blazing Pandas, not too bad. They survive on top and get a kill in the bot.
It is gonna even in kills. Michidi gonna take a knock up here in the top lane. Case Maze has no mana keeping, but needs to be careful.
Yeah, Michi Darko going aggressive on the trade, and you can see the wave state awful for the Scion. Does have teleport available, but Michi Darko holding this top wave here is going to leave the Scion in a sticky situation.
Yeah, sticky situation. I really thought Michidi was gonna fully commit onto Case Maze there, but I think he's still a little scared of Robbery being around that top side. And this time we do catch the solo kill, or the 2v3 kill should I say, in the bot lane. Ends up being Elrat who falls, so he's gonna have that Hex Flash still available, ends up burning the flash as well. Lurgs burns both of his summoners to get that kill. Meanwhile, Herald start in the top side could look the contest, but Michidi's health bar, I doubt is going to be beneficial for that contest.
Yeah, tricky one for Pandas as the Camille is low HP and no teleport available. They are still hanging around here, trying to see if anything can get done, but with the power of numbers and power of trade in the top lane does mean that they secure themselves that objective. And Dacer, you can see both teams playing so cautiously, not risking anything in the first game of the best of 5.
I mean, yeah, not risking anything. This is where you need to play cautious because anything you drop here could be detrimental. Keep in mind, whichever team loses here today is gonna be completely out of Split 5, is not gonna make it to the grand finals to face off against Gucci, who are sitting there waiting, but we do have a potential play on the bot lane.
Yeah, potential play in the bot lane is alright. Finds a catch onto Lurks. With no Sanix there to help the DPS, Lurks will just jump away with the W. Yeah, as you said, everything on a nice edge here, almost both sets of players not wanting to risk everything. And yeah, as you said, there's a spot in the grand finals, Dacer. How much would, if you're in this position, how much would this mean to you?
I think it'd mean everything, but I might have to hold my thought.
Wait, Rain D is actually gonna get brought down. The egg has been popped. Jonathan Isaac's ultimate, the Nature's Grasp, will be able to finish off the Orianna, and Sanix roams from bot lane to get a kill onto the Ivan, and Blazing Pandas, they look to repeat the result of the first series, going up early in game 1.
Sanix committing to the he, I'm hiding, and suddenly I'm behind you as Usujin ends up falling in the mid lane. A hook almost lands onto Sanix's death sentence, almost catching the rat right there. But Usujin stepping up a little bit too far right there, not respecting the fact that Robbery can be around. Slowly, Michidi is starting to get control of this top lane, but you can see Blazing Pandas are off to an early lead, picking up 2 kills already. A 2v2 in the bot lane.
Fight in bot lane as Lurks has been brought to low HP. No flash, and Bootner is just going to get the first kill of this 2 versus 2. The 2v2 win goes over to Wacky Race as they bite back with a kill and get themselves a gold lead.
They get themselves a gold lead, and Summonix, as far as I'm concerned, Sivir is not known as the most aggressive laner in the world. Yet Bootner seems to have the most aggression as well.
And speaking of aggression, Jonathan Isaac flashes right onto the L Rat, and the death sentence is going to go absolutely wide. Bootner brought to low HP. Going to get some shielding and support from Robbery here. Sejin also coming down to make sure that this wave gets pushed in. Was the first mid laner to move, and you can see Rain D has moved back to the mid lane to shove that wave out as the Herald gets spawned. We'll see if Blazing Pandas do anything to defend this. The Orianna ball is placed aggressively, potentially looking for a shockwave. You can see Lurch now walking up, flashing away from the stun. Usejin is going to survive just for now. The Orianna now left to base and flee as the mid lane wave is pushed. Actually not going to recall first, just going to TP straight away as off the back of this play, Randy picked himself up a CS lead.
Randy picks up a CS lead. I'm a little bit surprised that he does immediately TP. I would have thought that he had a little bit of gold in his pocket, but Dragon is gonna be spawning very soon, which is why I thought he might want to get a reset in if they are looking to contest this Drake. But Sovanix, if Blazing Pandas get this is gonna be their second Drake of the game, and it means they are gonna be 2 Dragons off of potential soul.
Yeah, this could be massive for Blazing Pandas if they get this, and especially with a scaling team composition as Lurgs finds a roam onto Usejin. No teleport available. Shockwave tried to use defensively, but actually pulls Rain D closer to him, and it's instead Kazemaze looking to avenge his fallen brother. No egg available. This Anivia has been brought to his knees, flashing over the wall to get to safety, but Kazemaze follows through, finishes off the bird, which means no mid lane is available for this Dragon, but Usejin does spawn first. Rain D has teleport when he comes back alive. There goes Daisy, spawned in to try and fight this one out. The Dragon is still there. Teleport coming in from Michidaka. Hook shot over the wall. Finds himself a Hextech ultimatum onto the Ivan. Bootner throws a boomerang blade to try and do what he can, but the Sivir hasn't scaled yet. But let's see what he can do. The death sentence is beautiful. Landing right on top of Lurgs. That's going to get 1 kill for Blazing Pandas. Sanix now left on to run in invisible form. Michidaka hook shots to safety. Jonathan Isaac might be in a sticky situation here as Usejin has returned to the team fight. No shockwave available, and they will walk out. Elrat performs his best Yellow Star impression as those two will be able to walk away for now. Dragon priority for Wacky Race. And this is still a sticky situation because Randy has teleported back. Sanix invisible. He's got 4 kills on the board. doesn't have an item yet, but this Twitch is not to be underestimated for now. The Dragon being brought to low HP. Lurks has also arrived into the fight. I swear this team fight has lasted so goddamn long, and a full engage coming in from Panda's Robbery is going to be the first one to fall. The carries of Wacky Race are stuck in the pit. They are actually going to manage to get out. Boon of Flashes and the Lantern for the Orianna. Sanix, this is a big shotdown if the Orianna can get it. He does! That's a massive shotdown going over to Surgeon, but a kill for Mishidako as well.
Amazingly played by the side of Blazing Panda. Sanix, yeah, he ends up falling. Usually it ends up picking up a shutdown, which, like you said, massive for this Orianna. And unfortunately, Butcher just ends up having Flash to get over the wall, and Butcher having one hell of a series for himself thus far. As we take a look back at the replay, all starts with Usage falling early on in the mid lane. Casemate ends up getting a little bit caught between the members. Robbery trying to help out his top laner as best as he can. A great engage on a Hextech Ultimatum coming out from Michidi here to lock down Robbery. The Magnet Storm not really hitting as much as you would like coming out of Lurks here, and Elrad just doing a great job of peeling, buying Butner time. Butner still full HP, keeping mind pretty much for that entire fight, and a great flash out of him at the back end of that fight as well. Speaking of shutdown, manages to keep his outside of the greasy palms of the Blazing Pandas. Butner so far 2-0 on this Sivir, and you said a scaling team. There's a scaling team on both sides here, and this is a lot more fighting than I expected early on.
Yeah, loads more fighting. I feel like the first 10 minutes of this game was so cautious, so careful, and out of nowhere, a massive team fight breaks out over that second dragon. Blazing Pandas, they do lose that, but they will get themselves the Herald here, so a nice little bounce back from them. And I kind of noticed Sanix is roaming around the map a lot as Lurks trying to catch onto Usedin, but the protection coming up from Robbery is going to keep the Orianna alive. Teleport in from Case Maze, and the unstoppable Onslaught goes past Lurks and finds a catch onto Sanix, knocked up and forced to run away. Lurks now brought to low HP, going to get finished off by Usedin. Now it's a 3 versus 2 alongside Daisy, which counts as a champion. And actually, on the bot lane, it's going to be a 1 versus 2 as Rain D will just kill off Butner in the bot lane, and well, I guess overall 1-for-1, but kills across the board.
Kills across the board for pretty much everybody there except the top lane. A great ultimate coming out of Case Maze to get the 2 members off guard in the mid lane. Meanwhile, in the bot lane though, Rain D ends up collecting a beautiful 2v1 kill. Not only that, the shotdown, which I talked about earlier, great from Butcher to keep it out of the hands of Blazing Pandas, now suddenly goes to the hands of Rain D, maybe the last member you would ever want that, and considering how well the Anivia scales later on into the game. A little bit of a misstep coming out from the bot lane of Wacky Race, but something you can see first items have started to come through for pretty much everybody in the game now, which means the damage is only going to ramp up from here.
Yeah, this is going to be an absolute slugfest as once these second items come in, fights will break out as they already are. A route onto Rain D, a death sentence onto Lurks. The W is going to still up Elrat, but the flame means that Lurks does get pushed away. Yeah, it feels like they're just fighting now for the fun of it. Yeah, these 2 teams out of nowhere just want to brawl each other.
Definitely so. Neither of them are willing to let this early / mid game go for free. So far it has gone for the side of Wacky Race. You can see an 800 CS lead for them. Mainly I would imagine it is on the mid lane and probably in the top lane as well a little bit, but you can see as we take a look at the gold here, it is gonna be, like I said, in that top lane and actually in the AD carry department by 200, but Case Maze is well ahead of Michidi, and this is what we talked about earlier, Sovanix, as well. The Bruiser into the tank. Generally this matchup does favor Sion early on, so not really that much of a surprise to see, but I'm looking at Rain D. This man has 3 kills so far, 3-1 Liandry's completed, and as soon as he hits level 16, unlocks that rank 3 ultimate, he's gonna become an absolute monster to deal with. And so far, you said that there's a lot of scaling on both of these sides, Sovanix, earlier on as well, but who do you think the scaling favors in this situation?
I think the scaling does honestly have to go to Blazing Pandas just because Camille outscales Sion on the side lane. One thing I will say is the way this game is panning out, there's a lot of team fights happening as Well, there's a 1v1 in the top lane, and a full combo coming out from K's Maze means that Michi Darko is being brought to low HP under the turret. No flash available. Flash forward from K's Maze. Michi Darko does get the passive proc, which means the shield will buy some time for now. There's no movements from either team up to the top lane, and it just seems like both top laners will just have a little bit of a Mexican standoff as a Herald gets spawned into the mid lane. This will finish off the turret. Actually, no one's hitting it. And a 3-man shockwave comes out from Recession. Means that Blazing Pandas are going to be brought to low HP. But 1 kill already comes in for Sanix. And he's actually just going to stay full HP. But 2 kills coming into the hands of Blazing Pandas means they win out on that team fight in the mid lane. And actually, Michi Darko won out on the 1v1 in the top lane as well.
It's just firing on all cylinders for the Pandas right now. Like you said, a fight one in the mid lane, a fight one in the top lane. Third dragon of the game going to be in their pocket, heading towards an Ocean Soul, which can be so strong in their hands, as well as really just annoying to play against on the side of Wacky Raids. But the side of Wacky Raids is holding onto their tower for a little bit too long there, and just a little bit too hard trying to save that mid-tier 1 ends up falling. Nonetheless, I feel like it was a great engage coming out from the side of Blazing Pandas, really knowing their limits, because even with the 3-man shockwave coming out from Usajin still ends up winning the team fight. You can see both mid laners are starting to go towards their second item. Randy already, with all the kills he's picked up and all the assists he's picked up, already has reached that Archangel's point. Still 60 stacks to go till it does transform and does end up giving him that shield if he does end up falling low. But so far, Randy having a great game for himself, and it does seem to me like the Blazing Pandas so far are doing a great job of playing as a team and playing together.
Yeah, they're doing such a fantastic job, especially against a roster like Wacky Raids, where this is their bread and butter, playing as a 5-man unit. These intense team fights is what they specialize in. And so Blazing Pandas being able to take it to them, well, I mean, that being said, I think Blazing Panda's specialty is this mid game. This is where they can really pop off. I think every single player they have really spikes in play in mid game. So really nice clash of styles we're watching here.
Definitely so, but speaking of clashes, a clash in the top lane, Robbery in trouble.
Yeah, Robbery having to flash away now. Rooted up, Sanix doing the spray and pray under that turret, but now he's getting flanked on by members of Wacky Raids. Beautiful play on Tattoo, and that Sanix is going to go down. Death sentence onto Jonathan Isaac. The escape route is there with the flash, but he does not get to the wall in time, and Bootner is going to finish off that kill. Wacky Raids bounce back with a fight in the top lane.
Wacky Raids refusing to be down and out, but hold on as the Baron does end up getting started here. Michidi with the flank lures and Randy both trying to make a play.
Root landing onto Michi Darko, and Bootner is going to boomerang him down, shut down onto the Camille, meaning that Sivir is popping up. 4-1 on the doors. Elrat now another death sentence onto Lugs. Shockwave pulls Rain D into the rest of the fight, and the Anivia's left to run. Elrat's going to flay his Lugs to death as the Anivia is forced to run away, and the Baron gets secured by Wacky Raids.
Wacky Raids are gonna get the first Baron of the series, and just as I was praising for the Blazing Pandas, they end up having a little bit of an uncharacteristic teamfight. Your Robbery ends up flashing away. Sanix commits a little bit too hard for the Iron Redemption, ends up coming out to make sure Robbery is safe. Sanix just gets exhausted, gets caught out by the side of Wacky Raids, and after that it is just lights out for the rest of the members. As Jonathan Isaac ends up falling as well, trying to get close to the wall to potentially gonna flash out, but Elrat says no, you are staying on this side with me, we are gonna have some fun. Ends up taking out the Maokai in that top side of the map, and now 22 minutes into the game, Wacky Raids with a Baron, and not only that, a 3,000 gold lead as well.
Ooh, and actually a potential catch onto the Thresh here. Redemption is going to get dropped. This wheel healing back all the way to full HP. Those shields are going absolutely crazy. He's taking up 3 members of Pandas. Sanix will be able to finish off on in the end, and a Shockwave is going to catch all members of Pandas. Rain D does have the passive available. Bruno goes melee range. He's going to get taken up by Sanix. Case Maze with a beautiful unstoppable onslaught on Tattoo, and a knockup as well. Yusajin gets the kill onto the Twitch. Might get a double kill onto the Maokai as well. Instead, the kill credit goes to Robbery, but Wacky Raids once again skirmish with the Pandas in the mid game and win out.
They win out on the skirmish. Michidi now in the sidelines, still seeing if he can get something done. Case Base is very low HP. Michidi might be in trouble here as he ends up just shutting on out. But Sovanix, this game is blowing up right in front of us.
Yeah, these two teams are fighting non-stop. It's kind of like watching a Sudoku game. I can't even lie. It's 28 kills for both teams, and I'll let you take this replay.
I mean, just look at the strength of Ivern. You said it yourself in the team fight. Elrod just, again, just full HP off the redemption, ends up getting shielded as well, and Reindeer just ends up getting almost taken out there. And look at Sanix being put into the bounce house, a bounce from Daisy, a bounce from Kay's base, and Sanix just so much CC, nothing the Rat can do in this situation. Spray and Pray already ran out, and you can see the side of Pandas, they are refusing to give up again, trying to take another fight. But the fight after the early game, after the great start they have not gone towards their way, as the gold lead has just grown and grown for Wacky Race, and now it is gonna be the fourth dragon of the game in contention, potentially the second dragon for the side of Wacky Race.
Yes, and Jonathan Isaac will find an entry into this team fight as he flashes right on top of Yusejin, but the shockwave is going to keep him alive for now, and the shields with Ivan, and keep your eyes on Sanix. He's getting barreled down by K's Maze. Hextech ultimatum onto the Orianna as Buna is just free-hitting in the back line of Wacky Race. That's 1, 2, 3 down. Oh, actually 2, sorry. Down 4, Blazing Panda. Jonathan Isaac now next to follow as Buna is just throwing boomerangs onto the Cryo Phoenix of Blazing Pandas as the egg is going to get popped, resurrecting in the back. Buna going to try and finish off Rain D. Doesn't get finished off by now, but instead Michi Darko will be that target as Blazing Pandas, they falter at the dragon, they lose the team fight, and Wacky Race will get themselves their second dragon of the game.
And Pandas almost get themselves aged right there, Ray. Which is completely untouched in the back line. Kazme is doing a great job of zoning out both the Orianna and Michidi right there. Randy ends up getting egged on the back, and Michidi doing a great job of picking up Elrod at the back, but ends up getting traded for himself. Not entirely sure if it's worth the thresh for the Camille, but in this situation is gonna take the 1-for-1. Dragon is gonna go to the side of Wacky Rates as well. The gold lead now almost at 6,000 for them, and has just grown ever since that mid game. But Sovanix, I gotta praise Robert. He's having one hell of a game.
Fantastic game coming out from the Ivan here, and this is why this champion was so heavily prioritized in the regular split. He's come back in the hands of Robbery, and it's looking like all his teammates are just frontline tanks at this point. So Jonathan Isaac straight up flash into an Orianna. In any other world, that Orianna is probably dead, but with the protection of this Ivan, his teammates are just able to survive the engage of Pandas.
And this is where you can see Sovanix. I believe this is a champion you've talked about earlier, and you hold in very high regard. And I recall you, Steven, saying the Ivan is a little bit broken right now, as you can definitely see Robbery putting it to great use in this game. Already 14 KPA for himself. Butner as well, having 15 KPA. They really have played around the Sivir. They've played around this bot lane. Casemate is doing a great job of sort of surviving up there. Still even CS in that top lane. Mid lane, about 40 CS lead for Randy, but on the side of Accurate, CS lead does end up favoring Butner almost on the 3 items, but Michidi could be in trouble.
Yeah, Michi Darko now pushed up way too far, and Wacky Race are collapsing onto the Camille. But a beautiful combo means he does get out, as Blazing Pandas seem to have found a catch onto K's Maze, unstoppable onslaught onto Jonathan Isaac. Butner rooted up by the Maokai ultimate, still yet to auto attack, but a beautiful shockwave in the back line of Blazing Pandas. Rain D has only just arrived to the fight, but it's a little bit too little, a little bit too late, as Wacky Race have already started to win the fight. Robbery gets a catch onto Rain D, and this Anivia is going to go down, shot down into the hands of Butner. Blazing Pandas, they are looking like they are dropping like flies.
They are dropping like flies, and Wacky Rates are the bug zappers this time on around Lurch, trying to get a base off, but gonna be looking for the bot lane in it as well. Look at the respawn timers on the side of Blazing Pandas. Could potentially look to end, but would be a little bit risky with Sanix coming back on up. Only their movement is gonna tell what they're about to do. Is gonna back off. I think it is a good call. I think they are in a position where they don't need to rush things. They have the scaling on their side as well. But looking at the team fight, a great Magnus Storm Flom lurks to start things off, but there's just no follow-up. Sanix does not do enough damage. The shockwave is so good, catching onto 3, and after Sanix falls, the team fight is kind of just GG at that point. Butner again free firing. Look at his HP bar. He is full HP. This man is bin chilling, even picks up Randy down at the back end of that fight. So Butner already onto 3 items, working his way towards his 4th item, and this Sivir has everything you could want.
Yeah, the Sivir is a free hitting, and I have to talk about, well, actually, Death Sentence landing onto Mishi Darko does have hook shot available, so one walkout. Yeah, I have to talk about K's Maze, because this guy is looking like an absolute raid boss. He just tanked up 5 members of Blazing Pandas, and speaking of raid bosses, I would imagine that Blazing Pandas players would have some expertise on how to take him down, but they just can't seem to break through this tanky Scion. So Arad once again showing his Yellow Star impression. Yeah, K's Maze is so tanky.
Definitely. So there has been a lot of WoW screenshots lately in the Discord. So definitely are a lot of raid boss activity.
Oh, catch onto Lurgs actually.
Not robbery.
Same guy. No, I'm kidding. Well, actually, teleport coming up from Mishi Darko. He has done this a lot, and I really get confused by it sometimes because he just TP flanks by himself without, you know, it looks like he's not on Discord with his team. You know, it's something he does. Yeah, it would just be a TP in from Camille to get dropped to almost half HP straight away. And as you can see, Wackery's full control of this Baron.
Definitely full control. A little bit of a confusing TP coming up from Mickey D, like you said. But Baron now started up Jonathan as he does have Flash the Smite. This might be a steal if they are gonna flip it.
Yeah, they will pull away from the Baron for now as Rain D does teleport into the river, and with that ward in the bush, they will spot out that Anivia TP. I think Wacky Race, no, you can just play it patient here as a full engage is going to come through. Coming out from Lurgs, Jonathan Isaac finds a catch onto Usejin. The Orianna is in a sticky situation here. Did not get the shockwave off. Shut down into the hands of Mishi Darko, but look who's free hitting. It is Bootner on the Sivir. Robbery does miss out on the basketball. Won't root anyone up for now. Rain D zoning out Wacky Race from that, but instead, despite losing 1 member, having the confidence to go to the Baron buff here, as Blazing Pandas, they make the call to focus the Dragon. I'm not sure how well advised this is. You can see Lurgs has now arrived onto the scene with Rain D, knowing that this is a precarious situation. I don't mind the 3rd Dragon, but trading it for the Baron when you do not have an inhibitor in bot lane might not be the best decision.
I personally think it's a call. If you're looking at the map as well, you can see bot lane shoving you further out of Blazing Pandas. I think it's gonna get really hairy if you try to contest that Baron, because if you lose that fight, you are looking at the ending of the game. With that bot lane pushing, if you misplay even a little bit, you can potentially lose. I think it's a really scary situation to be in. So this time, erring on the side of caution is going to secure themselves onto the soul point. But like you said, Summonix the Baron going to the hands of Wacky Race does mean they are going to have that push in the mid lane. Potentially the top lane, if they do want a case mate, does still have the teleport, same as Usejin, so can look to pressure these side lanes with the double TP, but so far, not caring about the side lanes, are gonna ARAM it straight down mid and gonna potentially look for this mid lane in him.
Yeah, as 5 members strong, they will just push up this mid lane turret. Jonathan Isaac now going for the flank, and actually 2 flankers happening. Jonathan Isaac does get rooted up. Beautiful Maokai ultimate followed up with the rest of the team, but the shockwave lands onto 3 members in the front line, and it's now just the carries of Pandas left alive. And with Sonic taken down swiftly, Rain D on the Anivia is the only one remaining. Baron buffed up minions, Daisy as well to add to that menu, and this could be the end of the game. They start hitting this inhibitor, and they will push forward. Rain D, you are the only one left alive. The next member of Pandas to respawn comes in 20 seconds in Lurgs, and I just don't think it's going to be enough for now. The minion wave gets cleared out. Elrat and Kazme step forward to try and find a catch onto Rain D. Gets flayed, gets death sentence. The egg is going to get popped. Resurrection might be coming in for you, but not today, as it's going to be the final blow from Kazme's Scion. Wacky Race, they claim Game 1 of this best of 5.
The only thing Randy is gonna see is a broken Nexus, at least for now, as it's gonna be Wacky Race ending with a victory in Game 1 for ourselves. A 10,000 gold lead as well, and Butner and Robbery, I feel like both having one hell of a game for themselves. The Sivir was so strong, and like you said, I don't want to discredit that top lane at all, because I was looking at top lane team fight, I was looking at how many auto Sanix got into K's maze, and he just sort of sat there, took it, and was half HP even after all that. So definitely just being the more tanky front line on the side of Wacky Race ends up paying dividends for them this time on around, and just a great game overall. I feel like, yeah, a couple of missteps in the early game, but ended up picking themselves back up in the mid game, in the late game, and end up taking game one.
Yeah, and a beautiful game coming out from Wacky Rates. And I think the interesting part here, and maybe could be the story of the series, is that Blazing Pandas, they have the specialization of the mid game, but it was Wacky Wraiths that played better in the mid game. That's the one thing Pandas do well. Wait, not the one thing. Sorry, it's not the only thing they do well. They obviously do other things well, but it's their strength, and for them to lose out in the mid game to their opposite number could be a scary sign for the rest of the series.
I mean, I definitely think so. And when you're looking at Wacky Rates, you're looking at 3-2-20 on Robbery. You're looking at 7-3-16 for Butner as the game ends up ending. And I think it's a great game overall. But what are you looking for in adaptation when it does come to game two? Of course, this is a replay cast, so this is potentially all hypothetical. But what are you sort of looking for the side of Blazing Pandas to change?
I think for Pandas, the name of the game here is, listen, no offense to Mishi Darko, but for me, he just doesn't break into the top 5 top laners in the league. But he's picking champions as if he's like Zeus of the SLE. It's like, stop doing that. Like, stick to what you have had results in. The Camille, like, there's just better Camille players in the SLE, and unfortunately, it's just not you. So, you know, yes, it's a good matchup for Camille, but if you're not good at the champion, what good is a good matchup, right? You know, we're seeing Camille dropping solo kills. This is just not what the value of R5 is. You're supposed to pick a champion that just dominates the lane phase. And unfortunately, it's just not working out for them, right? So I think this top lane draft plan needs to switch up to pick champions that supply support to the team. I think Rain D and Sanix had strong games, strong performances here. And if you can pick a team composition, a top laner that can facilitate, as opposed to you yourself think that you're the carry, then I think this is where Pandas can turn around.
Top lane adaptations, word of the day coming out from Sovanix, and I feel like I do agree with you. I think it is gonna have to be some draft changes for them, as we are gonna enter game 2 in a little bit. Gonna take a short break first to get ourselves ready up for this game number 2. But Wacky Race taking the first game, taking an early on lead in the series, and seeing if the Blazing Pandas can even it up in game number 2. Stay tuned.
I lied awake for days, counting all the ways I died. Everything I couldn't save, buried down, still half alive. It's got me crawling in my skin, but no one's coming out to hold me close. Pouring out the gasoline, yeah, I've been making friends with all these ghosts, and I got nothing left to lose. Fight to the future. to the fuse. I'm moving like a shadow. You're walking in my dead zone. Breathing slow. Ooh, love the hunt, love the high. Watching life fade from your eyes. Ooh, and this is not a warning. This is not a test. I'm tuning on you and I'm coming for the rest. And I'm about to ignite. Just try to play it cool. Echoes in my head I'm sick and disgusted, but I'm back with a match. Yeah, I'm a boss kid.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as the first game goes into the hands of Wacky Rates. And Nisa, we've talked a lot about sort of the behaviors in best of fives. How much momentum, or how good is that momentum of winning game one?
I think it's a great tool to work off of, especially when you're looking at how long this series can be if they end up going to game fives. And do not forget, Blazing Pandas are so far have been sort of kings of game fives when they do get to them. And like we've seen it before, beat Solaris Ares 3-2, beat Gucci Yang 3-2, beat the Wacky Rates earlier on 3-2 as well. So definitely when they don't get 3-0'd, they look pretty strong, but this time around are gonna drop game number one, as I do believe we should be ready to head into draft. But we talked about the top lane adaptations as well before we went into the break. It's gonna be interesting to see what they end up opting in for. It's gonna be the Sion once again, but this time a little bit more of a tankier boy in the top lane, as it's gonna be K'Sante locked in for the Blazing Pandas.
Yeah, this is exactly what I ordered from Ishidako. Don't try to skill check K's maze on his Sion. He is just too goddamn good at it. And we'll go with the K'Sante, and I really like this. You can provide a lot more to your team in these fights. But one thing on my screen, and I swear I'm not just saying this out of bias, but I really, really love this Azir pick here. I think Azir into Orianna is one of those matchups that is so good. And it's one of the counters that you can pick into the Orianna. So a mage right now with so much power in the meta, to the point where it gets B1'd, and one champion, of course, it doesn't get picked as often as it should be due to the, I'm just gonna put this out there, mechanical difficulty.
Oh.
Not many people play it, so it's not as picked as often as it should be. But Rain D is one of the players that I know can play Azir very well, and will take it into Usejin's Orianna, and I really, really like that.
Definitely so, but I'm still a little bit surprised that the gonna be again Orianna open. You do see the triple AD carry ban on the side of Blazing Pandas 4 game to actually, never mind quadruple, as it ended up being Ashe taken away as well. So you can definitely see who they're scared of on the side of Wacky Rates. You can definitely see who they're targeting after that first game. Butner ends up getting heavy-handedly locked out of most of his favorite champions. It's going to be the Jinx, Vayne, and the Sivir from last game being taken on away. But I'm seeing a Kog'Maw Milio on my screen. I'm seeing it with a Sion and Orianna. Great scaling on the side of Wacky Rates, and the Orianna Wukong combo can never be underestimated in the mid and jungle. But it's been a while since I've seen a Kog'Maw Milio, and for me it'll be very interesting to see how this works out. But I think there was a great counter pick on the side of Blazing Pandas, which is the Blitzcrank.
Yeah, I really like this Blitzcrank, because you got that hook onto the Milio, and that Kog'Maw will no longer have the protection that he requires to pop off in the team fights. And also in general, I really like Blitzcrank, especially in the SLE, because it's got this magic, and even some of the lower tier teams pick this to cheese out stronger opponents. You land a random hook onto a key carry in a late game team fight, you just win the game. You don't land a hook, you don't land hooks for the whole game. You land that one random hook for absolutely no reason, and then you're like the hero running home to your family, right? So yeah, as well, we'll jump straight into the game here. And Dasa, has your prediction changed off the back of that game one?
I think not. I think the side of Blazing Pandas have lost game ones before. I think
True.
if we see a game 5, the side of Blazing Pandas, I think have the advantage personally. I think they have so much experience in game 5s heading into the series thus far, and I think the draft as well in this game 2 is so much better. And it does feel to me like this is much more like the Blazing Panda style, you know, Michidi on something that can facilitate the team a lot more than Camille can. Yes, it is into the Sion, so you do have limited facilitating, and I feel like we're going to have limited action in the top lane as well, but you can see the side of Blazing Pandas going for a classic Blitzcrank in vain. Blind Hook into the bush this time around. The side of Wacky Race are going to be smart enough to not stand in any bushes, but you can see outside that no early action on into the game. And I personally, I'm expecting 5 games coming out of us tonight, but we're just gonna have to see as getting into game 2, you can see both teams just been chilling for now.
Bing chilling indeed, and I don't imagine this game having too much action in the early as comparison to the last one. Top lanes, they're just tanks. I guess one jungler needs to play aggressive in the early, but can also opt to just clear, and then 2 scaling mages in the mid lane, and then 2 scaling any carries in the bottom lane. The one thing to look out for is if Lurgs runs around the map and looks for hooks.
Definitely, so you can influence the game so much as a Blitzcrank early on, and I think personally for me, I'm just a Xayah enjoyer in general, but I think when you pick something that has really high wave clear early on into the game, it can be really, really beneficial, as you can see both top laners just sort of trading a little bit of damage for now, and never mind as both of them.
A little bit of damage.
Whoa.
Yeah,
A lot of damage.
These guys just duke it out as well, they pick tanks but decide to play like assassins, as Michidaka actually does ding level 2 first. Doesn't quite get the Q3 through, but we'll be able to push through this top lane wave here. Yeah, I said no early action, and these two guys just stop fisting each other. And whoa, I probably shouldn't say fisting. You guys get the point. You got the point. You got the point.
I don't think we'll have to show that on Twitch. But yeah, so far it has been a pretty aggressive top lane coming out of those two. And to finish my earlier point as well, I just love wave clear champions being picked with Blitzcrank, because it means things like Xayah can wave clear very easily early on into the game. So what you can do, quickly wave clear the bot lane, means Sanix can just chill, let the wave push back into him, and Lurgs, like you said, it's Sovanix, can just run around the map, do Blitzcrank things, but you can see an immobile mage in the mid lane as well, and Sion being pretty immobile himself means you can definitely look for those hooks, definitely can look to influence the game, but so far, both junglers panning towards the bot side of the map, and it should be, in my opinion, if this 3v3 ends up happening, favoring the side of Blazing Pandas, because one hook I feel like on the people on the side of Wacky Race, and they are just gonna get blown up.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. But one thing that's caught my eye is farm numbers being extremely low on the solo lane aspect of it. Just bear in mind, we're on wave 5 now, I believe, and you get 12 CS from wave 2. So I think a lot of farm has been missed from both mids and tops. Which is usually when that happens, it is a result of the two players just trading like crazy. There's a fight kind of breaking out in the bot lane. Bootner frontlining, actually, having the protection of the Melio, but instead it will just force Sanix back to the safety of the tower, as it might have sniffed a Wukong in the bush there. So this could be a potential dive here, as Robbie will get the wave in, but instead it will just be to allow his bot lane to reset.
Yeah, I would imagine that one was pretty obvious for the bot lane of the Pandas as Bootler kind of just walks up all willy-nilly. I do have to imagine the hook from Lurgs was on cooldown, just because that was a pretty easy one to hit, so I would be surprised if it didn't come out if it wasn't that cooldown. But Michidi again in the top lane trading pretty aggressively. And like you said, Summonix, these two just refuse to stop fighting.
Yeah, they do. They aren't gonna put their fists down, not even in the tank matchup. So, and I think that's one of the interesting things about top lane this season in the SLE. And there's a lot of conversation. Top lane is the most stacked role in this league this time around. Traditionally, it's always been like the dog role in the SLE. So, it's nice to see a change that top lane is full of very very talented players. And I feel like a lot of games we see is just. The camera pans over across the map, everyone's farming, goes to top lane, and they're just going at each other. So, yeah, really nice change up this split.
Yeah, definitely so. And even when it is tanks, I feel like we've seen so many aggressive plays in the top lane. We've seen so many solo kills. And Michidi said this farming is a little bit too hard for me. I'm going to take a little bit of a pause and rethink my strategy. Is going to make a swift return, as we all do after having a week break from solo kill. We all end up coming back, even though we hate the game. But we love it, as they are once again hitting each other.
Yeah, once again hitting each other. Both level 6 now. Kazemiz does have Unstoppable Onslaught available, but Mishidago does have the All Out as well. And when K'Sante gets that All Out, suddenly that tank is an assassin. So Kazemiz won't pursue that duel any further.
Yeah, definitely can swift up the matchup in the top lane very quickly. And I think it is interesting as well, because a lot of people, in my opinion, even in SLE, often underestimate K'Sante's damage, because once he's in tank form, you're like, oh, he hit me with Q for 50 damage? Yeah, I don't really care. And suddenly he uses the All Out, transfers all that resistances into AD, then suddenly his Q is doing 200 damage instead of 50 damage, and you're just sitting there like, wait, what happened and where did my health go? But so far, the only thing losing health is gonna be this dragon, as first dragon of the game, gonna be secured by Blazing Pandas, and with a Kog'Maw Milio in the bot lane, this is sort of what you expect.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, well, they will get themselves the first dragon of the game, and it's a very different story to the last time around. Actually, sorry. Pretty much the same story as last time around. I think Pandas are a really good team at pushing for bot lane prior and getting themselves that dragon here, as they have now allocated 4 members down to try and execute a turret dive. Sanix and Jonathan Isaac has been tasked to shove the wave in. Now Lurgs arriving on the backside. I'm not sure if they know that Rain D is here, as the Emperor of Shurima is just going to shuffle Buna away from the turret. Not the cleanest one I've seen. Will flash away to the safety of his team, securing himself first blood. Lurgs now arriving, potentially looking for a hook as he grabs Usejin to the rest of the Pandas squad. This could be 2 kills going in the hands, but instead it will just be first blood for Rain D.
First blood for Rain D, and a great flash coming out from Sanix, and overall just a really good call from the Blazing Pandas. They got bored. They said we need to accelerate this early game, and that was actually going to be a point I was going to bring up as well. And I feel like they need to start accelerating the early game, because so far they really haven't really done much with this Blitzcrank pick down towards the bot lane. But again, looking at the replay, the shuffle was great. The TP answered just a little bit too late, as they, like you said, Sovanix, they didn't know Reindeer was over there, and the TP does come in. But look at Sanix flash on the shockwave. Great work coming out from the AD carry off the Pandas. Lurks almost ends up falling, but a great hook onto usage means this Orianna is gonna have to expend flash as well. And overall, just a really, really good win and a really, really good play coming out from the Pandas, as Robbery ends up getting a little bit of chicken in the top side of the map. But Kazemi is gonna have to trade ultimates with Michidi in the top lane.
Yes, ultimates do get traded, but in terms of health bars, it's in the favor of the K'Sante there. And, well, with First Blood going into the hands of Rain D, this does make the lane phase a lot better for the Azir. As, despite being a counter matchup, Usejin has been winning it. So, hopefully that First Blood makes the lane a bit easier for the bird.
Yeah, definitely. So should at least make it easier. But Robbery in the top side with the Cyclone, as well as using Shockwave, just came up as well. They can definitely look for this if they want to. But Daisy just doing so much of the zoning. And can I just say that Daisy just half health with Robbery without anyone else touching?
Yeah, that's the power of Daisy. A lot of people say Daisy is essentially a sick champion on their team. Yeah, but Well, with Mishidaka winning out a few trades in the top lane, it does mean that Pandas comfortably will take the Herald. So, different to game one, where they actually secure both the first Dragon and the first Herald. So, we'll be on point and ahead of the ball in this one.
Will be ahead of the ball, and I think you do have to put this result down towards the bot lane. I think if they can secure another 4-man dive, especially with Usage's TP and K-Base's TP being down at this time, of course, gonna be a little bit harder with Daisy being on cooldown 4 now, and you can see 2 control wards at the bot side of the Blazing Panda, so definitely a lot of vision control coming out from the Sanity is gonna walk up here. Jonathan is waiting in the wings, could look for a potential gank. You can see the pings, they're coming on their way.
Yeah, this could be another gang onto the bot lane of Wacky Wraiths here. Root landing onto Elra and absolutely everything. Baboon is able to trade some damage back onto Lurg, so it will just be the evac button for Pandas for now. Nothing gets blown, so good for Wacky Wraiths to survive as pan over to mid lane. Rain D, something get pushed under his turret. I feel like Yusejin might look for a solo kill soon, so we'll keep your eyes out for that.
Definitely can. I feel like you can see Randy's health bar not being the healthiest thing in the
Oh,
world.
speaking of, yeah, speaking of, Mishidaka going to Q3 K's maze despite the knock up from Sion coming through. Instead, K's maze, they might look for a tower dive, dodging away from the Q knock up. Will survive for now. So, well, not much fighting from the teams, and a lot of fighting in the lanes.
It's just been a lot of fighting in the top lane, but nothing really leading to any kills. It has been a little bit of a CS lead for now. 4K is made, but granted, not a whole lot, as I do believe the wave is pushing towards Michidi. You can see Robbery in the bot lane so far, just waiting in the wings to see if any engages come through, but a gank in the mid lane.
Oh, gank in the mid lane. Daisy gets popped. Jonathan Isaac does land the root. No flash available for Yusejin for now, but the shockwave is absolutely beautiful, stopping the shuffle from Rain D, but flash forward from Jonathan Isaac. Red buff ticking. Some support from his team is going to come through, but it's just too late as Elrat's heal does not follow in, and beautiful Emperor's Defy to shove the Wukong away from Rain D, and he's going to get himself second kill of the game. Beautiful play coming out from the mid jungle of Blazing Pandas.
And Robbery just gets shuffled right onto his grave right there by Randy. A great play out of them. Should secure themselves a dragon as well. Herald is going to be thrown down towards the bot side of the map. Keeping in mind Robbery not going to be around to stop this one. And so far Butner under the tower all by himself. So if a hook does land here, if Lurks can look for this, could be detrimental. Butner needs to be a little bit careful. This is a big wave. They can try to look for a dive, but Butner is not going to get dived this time on around the side of Blazing Pandas. Know that the members are on there. We're going to play this one a little bit safer, but going back to the mid lane, play a great flash out of Jonathan Isaac as well to get the shield with the slow and the speed up as we take a look back at the replay. Usage, granted, a great shockwave coming out from him to stop the Rain D dash, but again, Jonathan Isaac with the red buff as well as the blue buff, the flash forward, just too many slows and too much crowd control to deal with. Elrap, unfortunately, not keeping his mid laner alive. They're not getting to him on time, and like I said, a great shuffle out of Rain D. Gets Robbery killed. Cyclone is not enough to save the monkey, but 3 men in the bot lane.
Yeah, 3-man gank in the top lane. Mishidaka flashing to get the all out on Yusejin, and he might be able to escape here. Jonathan Isaac gets the blast cone over the wall to try and support his top laner, but Robbery gonna dash forward. Ghost was popped by K's maze, but used to essentially run away, and Mishidaka with a beautiful escape coming out on the Cassante.
A beautiful escape out of the top laner of the Blazing Pandas with the help of Jonathan Isaac this time on around Daisy. It's gonna be a 2v1 in the top side.
2v1 breaking out as Yusejin now. 2-man shockwave is gonna buy some time for now. Rain D flashing forward. That red buff is ticking, but the Orianna will survive for now. Cyclone popped onto the top of the Azir. Robbery is gonna fall to Lurg, so instead the jungler will sacrifice his life for the Orianna, but Blazing Pandas playing this game beautifully in the early.
And Jonathan Isaac, again, just knowing the limits of his champion. A little bit of a confusing play coming up from Murray because, yeah, you want to keep your top lane alive, but committing the Cyclone as well. I'm not entirely sure about that. And Usagin, just a great play out of Rain D right there to shuffle Usagin right back into the jungle. The 2-man shockwave, not enough, unfortunately, to keep his jungler alive. Does keep himself alive at the end of the day, but a bit of an overcommit coming out from Robbery right there ends up falling. Lurgs is the one who is gonna get granted the kill this time around. A little bit of gold to the Blitzcrank as well. Sanix gonna take a little bit of a trade in the bot lane as well. You can already see with longer that we are getting into this game, the more Butner is starting to do damage as he is gonna already have health, Sanix.
One thing to note is a lot of fighting happening in the top side of the map, but in the bot lane, Butner is slowly scaling away on the Kog'Maw, and well, hopefully we'll see if in the mid to late game he pops off enough to salvage the situation for Wacky Rates.
Yeah, definitely some salvaging does need to be done. As you can see, gold lead almost 3,000, but Robbery might try to do some of the salvaging. Currently trying to set up a gank in the middle lane as for usage in Shockwave coming off cooldown just now. I think that's the cooldown they're waiting for at the moment, but the Monkey is gonna walk away. And I just want to point out as well, the vision control from Blazing Pandas I think has been great throughout this entire series.
Yeah.
You can just see the amount of red wards on the top side of the map, and it's gonna keep Randy so safe, considering especially how so the champion Azir is to begin with, that he is definitely gonna be under no threat anytime soon. But Robbery looking to contest the Herald in the top lane.
Yeah, this could be a contest here as Robbery level 8 will just jump onto Rain D. Beautiful flash forcing the Azir out of the pit, but that does mean Azir will be able to DPS in fight with Jonathan Isaac, and he goes onto a killing spree. Rain D playing this game beautifully. Better bird this time around as the sand is more useful than the ice. But now the Herald is very, very low, and Messi Darko playing that beautifully as he finds a kill onto you, Sejid. Case Maze will avenge his fallen brother, but will have to back away as another objective into the hands of Blazing Pandas.
With Usagi falling, they just run out of damage, but I'm more concerned as to what the hell is going on the bot side of the map, because Butner ended up falling while that was happening, and somehow now Sanix is dead, while Butner is still alive in the bot lane. Elrad ends up being the one who falls, and just all around confusing play. But on the top side of the map, Michidi I think played this absolutely perfectly. Completely just goes in onto usage, and that's what I was talking about. We saw the Qs onto Case Maze earlier on into the game doing not much damage. Suddenly when he presses ultimate, those Qs start hurting a hell of a lot more on the Cassante, and you can just see as well Herald gonna be secured here for Jonathan Isaac. And Sylvanix, if you were Jonathan Isaac in this situation, if you were the Ivern, where would you potentially be looking for this Herald?
Yeah, I feel like if you're Ivan here, putting more power into the Azir is going to be exactly what you need to do. Because essentially there is a teleport in the bot lane, and now Wacky Rate's bot lane in the face of Mishi Darko's Cassante. Doesn't have the all-out available, but he does have a 3-kill Azir to help him out. Rain D will secure the first kill of this fight, and it will be the only one as the Azir 4 kills on the board, looking really, really strong in this game. Lurgs gonna chase out Elrat into his own jungle usage, and having the Shockwave available. Well, one thing to note, the Azir is chunked down to low HP, so this could be a fight that Wacky Rates take, but they do not have their Kog'Maw available to them. You can see Case Maze starting up the chicken camp, so probably not making a move immediately down to this fight. He is starting to make some movement on the map. You can see here he is in range of that unstoppable onslaught. Won't get used. It will just be a dragon take. Lurks potentially fishing for a hook, but instead will just be the objective for Pandas as Mishi Darko playing aggressive onto the mid lane, flashing back to the safety of the turret as the all-out comes through, and Shockwave is going to finish off the Cassante. That's going to be first kill going over to Usejin on the game. Teleport in now for Rain D. Keep your eyes for a Shurima shuffle. It's going to catch only onto Case Maze as it gets flashed away. The hook doesn't quite land onto Usejin, but it's going to be Sion chunked down, and the damage coming out from Rain D is just too much. Sadix now rushing forward to try and finish off the Sion. He's going to go down into zombie mode. The aggression coming out from Zaya as Rain D goes unstoppable. 5 kills now onto the Azir. The turret gets summoned into the mid lane for defensive purposes. That's going to be the end of that fight as Blazing Pandas start dominating game 2.
And Sanix, with all the confidence in the world, flashing forward right there, almost ends up getting taken up by Case Maze, but the Featherstorm does end up keeping him alive. Take a look back at the replay as well. Rain D with a great flash shuffle, but an even better flash coming out from Usage right there. Not to get caught out by Case Maze is the one that ends up getting caught by the Shuriman Emperor himself, and Elrad just with the flash forward does, I believe, end up falling at the back end, as it does end up being the Featherstorm that keeps Sanix alive. And like you said, after the Azir Tower does end up going down, very hard chase to go from the side of Wacky Rates to even try to get something out of that. Granted, I think the play was at that point too far gone to be salvageable. But you can see as well, Randy starting to make his way over towards the top lane. Like you said, trying to get as much gold into this Azir. And so far, side of Blazing Pandas have been doing just that. 503, first item finished up on Randy, and he's a pretty rich bird.
I absolutely love watching an Azir performance like this in the SLE. It is borderline orgasmic for myself. Yeah, Rain D. I actually do want to add Azir. I'm taking a look at the champions that he's up against. This is the kind of game that Azir sort of strives in. The only thing that can get on top of him is the Wukong, and it's so simple. You just use the ultimate. That Wukong can't kill you, can't get onto you. The way Wukong engages fights, you pop that W. That's the only gap closer you have on the champion, and Azir can just either shuffle away or use the Emperor's Divide to get you off of him and DPS you from back line. So. Really nice game from Rain D coming in here, and well, he did play well in the first game, but a much better performance now. 5-0-3 on the Azir. As well, I talked a lot there, so I didn't give you much time to speak. But instead, there's going to be a potential catch onto Rain D. He will dodge away a two-man Emperor's Divide under the turret, and this is exactly what I talked about. Get on top of him, Wukong. He will just push you away from him. As Sanix is going to get the kill credit onto the Sion, with Jonathan and Isaac finishing off Robbery, and this game is looking like it's done and dusted.
This game looking like it is a little bit over. Of course, you do always have the Kog'Maw, Milio, Wincon, as well as the Orianna. Like we said earlier, great scaling instead of Wacky Raids. But taking a look at the Baron as well now, 8,000 health, no Wacky Raids members to be seen anywhere, even near the vicinity of this big worm. As you can see, Robbery and Casemaze both dead on your screens. Robbery ends up coming up now, but it is a little bit too late. End up getting caught in the top lane, and Summonix, exactly what you pointed out before the fight even happened, just happened. Robbery tries to get onto Rain D. Rain D presses the shuffle and says, "Get away from me," puts the restraining order onto Robbery, and Robbery at that point just cannot do anything as the clone was already used. And you talked about all the safety with the Azir, even in his own kit. But not only that, he's got an Ivern by his side to cover him. He's got a Michidi who can create all the zone in the world, being the K'Sante, having so much CC by his side. And I think overall just a great team performance coming up from the side of Blazing Pandas. But I think I need to be a little bit critical of Robbery, so I might have to hold my thought. Lurgs is fishing, but the hook does end up going wide. And Robbery, so far, I praise this man in game one, and it looks like it was just the Ivern diff, because this time around 0-5 on this monkey, and so far Robbery not having a good time.
Not the best performance from Robbery, but a tricky one in all respects, because it's really difficult to get on top of this team composition here. And I hear that Sion ultimate being used, but Rain D is just too goddamn strong. 2 items completed, and he will complete a solo kill onto the Sion, and a fight breaking out in the mid lane. Wacky Rates are just falling apart in this game too, as Blazing Pandas showing absolute dominance in this game. Oh, the fight's not over. As Michi Darko is going to get a catch onto Yesejin. The Shockwave is going to get blocked out by the W, and instead, a consolation prize. The Orianna will solo kill the K'Sante.
It is a consolation prize. A little bit of a questionable flash Shockwave out of using, sort of using the Shockwave and flashing out of his own Shockwave at the end of the day, but ends up getting the solo kill nonetheless. A little bit of an overplay coming out of Michidi, but I think I can definitely respect that the K'Sante is always a champion who you, I think, can go for those, and people really don't respect the damage he does once that ultimate is gonna be used. But now Soul potentially onto the side of Blazing Pandas. Granted, it is a Kimtech Soul, not the most influential thing in the world, but definitely can make a difference. Although Sanix is gonna complete the base just on time. Robbery not getting any catches there. Keep in mind, the Feather Storm plus all the cooldowns out of Sanix were up, so I doubt it would have been a quick kill. But this late on into the game still could have burned a summoner, could have burned an all-important cooldown out of Sanix.
Yeah, that could have been a massive catch for Wacky Rates, because the shutdowns are available for them to take, so anything they can get right now, it's going to be gold to them. Said Pandas, they will get priority onto this dragon, as Casemaze does have TP available, but he's just trying to push down that top turret, getting the bounty where he can. This could just be a free soul being handshaken over to Pandas, as yeah, this will be secured by them.
It is gonna be secured. Gonna be traded for an objective bounty in the top lane. Tier 1 secured. for the Sion, but Lurgs now with the Shurelios is not gonna hit the hook. Elric just getting out of the way of that robbery is gonna be waiting in the wings, but I feel like robbery can do all the flanking he wants. But as long as he's got one item and those three longswords in his inventory, the Sion Blazing Pandas are not gonna be too scared of a Wukong.
Yeah, not too scared as I mean, usually you're scared of Wukongs, but maybe not a 0-6 one, as he's now getting ganked in his own jungle by Lurgs and Jonathan Isaac. Sanix now bringing the DPS onto the monkey as Jonathan Isaac goes unstoppable. This is not usually what we see out of Ivan's, a supportive champion, but putting down some combat stats as Rain D going for a complete wipe solo kill as the Azir goes godlike 7-0 and 5 now. And Usejin's Orianna was a beautiful in game one, but this time no match for Rain D's Azir.
Yeah, and I can definitely tell Sylvanix why you enjoy watching this champion so much over in the Engage in the mid lane.
Yeah, Engage breaks out in the mid lane, forces Sanix to use the ultimate Lurks. Doesn't quite land a hook onto Elra, but look at the solo lanes of Wacky Wraiths, because they are not able to, I mean, one of them is dead, and they're just not able to match the split push of Rain D and Mishi Darko as they are pushing in the sides, forcing Wacky Wraiths members to attend to the damage. As now an Engage, oh, not an Engage, but a beautiful hook coming out from Lurks is going to catch Elrat sleeping. He's going to get taken down. The captain, the leader of Wacky Race falls, which means the base is going to get broken up. Rain D gets the turret in the mid lane. The rest of the squad get a turret in the top lane. Sanix gets pulled in by the shockwave, but the Orion is just too weak. Hook gets dodged away. 2 inhibitors down. And Wacky Race, they cannot do anything against this push.
I mean, you said that the base is broken, Sylvanix, the base is in complete shambles as they end up losing what I believe was 4 towers in that one play, end up losing 2 inhibs out of it as well. And Baron, keep in mind, on the cards in about 50 seconds, so you can see the side of Pandas, they are gonna recon, are gonna get themselves set up, probably a couple of more control wards gonna be bought coming out from them, and you can see the inventories are filling up with those said control wards. You can see some items finished up as well. Sanix getting his 3rd item now on board that LDR. Definitely gonna help to cut down this Sion as we do take a look at the 4th item coming out from Randy as well. The Zonia's Hourglass just gonna provide that extra layer of safety that you mentioned earlier, Sylvanix. And with this Baron on the cards, I know we said this before, but with the 11,000 gold lead, this would be a pretty hard game to throw coming out from the Pandas.
Yeah, especially considering the scaling that they have, they would have to do a lot to lose this one. So I just don't imagine them doing so, but of course, Wacky Race, they do have a Kog'Maw as Case Maze will try to force a fight in the mid lane, and the Unstoppable Onslaught will just, I don't know, cruise bus maybe, T-Tours. But it doesn't get used to anything, and you can see Mishi Darko knows there is no Sion here to defend the base, and there are only 2 turrets standing left of Wacky Rates, as now they potentially look for a catch onto Lurgs, but he will just emote up and taunt away the members of Wacky Race. Now Rain D just going to wipe the floor with the Wukong. Beautiful stasis now to dodge away and flash from the impending doom from Wacky Race. Not impending doom as Rain D is going to dash forward once again. He does finally get taken down. Big shutdown going over to Bootner, but a hook landing in and the feathers get called back. Mishi Darko has pushed through the base section, the only one left to defend, and he's now found a jump onto the Orianna. All out coming through. Beautiful W once again to finish off. It's going to be 24 kills to 5. Pure domination coming out from Blazing Pandas, and a lovely response from them after the first game. It will be 1-1 in the series, and Dasa, we've got a best of 5 on our hands.
We've got a series indeed on our hands. Usually just end the jaws of the beast as Michidi just ends up taking out the mid laner of Wacky Race in that game. And I gotta be a little bit critical because Robbery having, how to put this lightly, a not so good game for himself on the monkey. Ended up, like we said earlier, being 0-5 pretty early on into the game as well. Just really never getting off in that game like he did in game 1. And so far, Sylvanix, in our 2 games in our series for today, I ran with a 100% win rate.
100% win rate on the Ivan, and I mean, we kind of said, or at least I said, like, this champion was picked with such heavy priority in the regular season, and it just wasn't the same way in playoffs. And suddenly, this series here gets picked in game one, picked in game two, 100% win rate, and it looks like the Ivan is doing a lot. But you know me, I come in with my biasness. The Azir definitely 1v9 this game. The Emperor of Shurima went crazy. Solo killed the Scion at one point, then solo killed the Orianna on the complete opposite side. It was just dominant in every stage of the game, and Rain D played that bird to not perfection, because there were, I think the early part of the lane wasn't the best, as he did have a CS deficit and picked up loads of kills, but close to perfection at least. As 1-1 as we have a quick break, I guess, around the corner. And also around the corner is game 3, so don't go anywhere, because that one's coming soon. Oh my god.
make yourself remember. Darling, don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, 'cause when we're gone, everything goes on. You were staring at the window, and I said, I wanna take you to the sea.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As I really like that symphonic song, as apparently I have now claimed ownership to weeb music. I don't watch anime, but I don't know where this came from. Anyway, there's game 3 on the horizon, 1-1. Pandas, that was probably the most dominant playoff game that we've seen in Split 5.
I think definitely so. When you're looking at a team that's already won game 1, to fall down, I'm gonna put it out there, I think they fell on a cliff. If I'm being honest, I think they were heading uphill, they were doing nice in their bus, just going around, and suddenly they just fell off the mountain. Because I think the performance out of the side of Akira's squad in that game too was not exactly ideal, in my opinion, especially looking at Robbery 0-8 on the Monkey, and all around just a great showing out of Blazing Pandas. And I can definitely tell why you like watching Azir, because Randy put up an absolute performance in that game number 2. And I'm expecting to see potentially some gate changes here in game number 3 as well, as I do believe we are ready to head into draft and take a look and take a first sighting as to what we have for ourselves. But Sylvanix, is there anything sort of that you're going to be looking out for here, as we do have the draft underway? I'm seeing double AD carry on the side of Akira.
Ooh, I really like the Blazing Pandas I've done here, because well, I like the I like the Varus pick, and yeah, as you said, double AD carry come out from Wacky Wraiths. Tristana, a champion that has kind of fallen off in the meta and priority. I think it wasn't that long ago where, like, if it's up, you just pick it and you just win the game. Now, Tristana has not seen that light of day as often nowadays as that time period, but I think into the Corki, it's a good matchup. And the thing about Corki is, I know it's a Sejin special. We're taking a look at the ban. The Azir was open, it wasn't picked up, as the Orianna gets actually banned out by Wacky Race, so they don't opt for the B1, knowing that Rain D can play the Azir. Instead, they go for the Ivan first pick, and they know the stats, 100% win rate on that champion, and they go for the Tristana mid lane flex pick in B2, which is a good pick into the Corki. And as I said, Yusurgeon, a Corki main himself, probably knows the best counters, so will opt for the Tristana.
I think so far I'm not at all surprised that the Ivern has this heavy prio, considering how well it has done so far in the series. Like you said, 100% win rate. And I do like the answer in the mid lane here out of Wacky Race, because it was an early pick on the Corki, considering the Blazing Pandas had the first 2 picks after the Ivern was locked in, which means this Tristana is an answer into the Corki, something that we have seen taking a bit of a lull when it comes to sort of the meta, but the Wacky Raid is trying to revive it here in this game number 3. And this is where, in my opinion, if you're gonna do something, I feel like you need to do something comfort, and I'm not entirely sure if Tristana is comfort for the side of Wacky Raids. While yes, you did highlight Sylvanix that usage in being the Corki connoisseur does know the bad matchup for Corki. I feel like Tristana has sort of fallen out the meta. I'm not entirely sure if I would put Tristana as a champion that sort of fits Usage's playstyle in a way, but we're gonna have to see when we head into game. And so far, in my opinion, I'm more of a fan of the draft on the side of Pandas.
Yeah, actually, I do like Wacky Race draft, I can't even lie. Actually, not so much the draft, but more just they have Ivan, and apparently it's winning every game. So I'm gonna go against you here. Why not? Put some interest in the caster desk as well. I'm gonna go for Wacky Race draft win here. I just think, obviously, Ivan, like jokes aside, it's shown so much power in this series already, and more importantly, this brawl value is incredible. You can shield away DPS coming out from Corki and Varus. And being able to do that in a game like this is going to be crucial for this game, and it's going to allow Bootner some space to open up on this Twitch and do some crazy DPS in these fights.
Yeah, definitely. So, and yeah, I think for me, I say I favor the Blazing Pandas draft. I think objectively looking at it, I think Wacky Rays have a better draft. But for me, I just really like Varus right now. I really like as well the sort of Cassante Trundle combo they have by their side. Especially looking at something like a Scion, who's gonna have so much resistance. It's be so tanky. If you can get a Trundle ult onto that Scion, suddenly it is a lot more squishier, it is a lot easier to kill when it comes to that tank in the top lane. But this mid lane is gonna be crucial for the side of Wacky Race because Summonix, we've seen in the past how influential an early Tristana can be in the mid lane, but often, if it doesn't end up working out, if it does fall behind, it tends to really not do anything until late game because marksmen again will always scale.
Yeah, marksmen do scale, as all of them do. I think more some than others. But speaking of scaling marksmen, there's been a rise in this new Varus build where you essentially go Blade of the Ruined King into Radiant Virtue. And I think in a different timeline, a certain trying to remember. In a different timeline, a certain Gucci Yang AD carry would run a build similar to this and get flamed for it in Twitch chat. But you know, turns have tables as now this is just the meta. This is just what you do on champions like Varus. And I think even Twitch can run a similar sort of build as well. So AD carries, I mean, personally, I hate it. Why do AD carries buy support items and still one-shot me? Like, are you kidding me? Yeah, that is that. So I'm interested to see if both these AD carries opt for that. But you already see the counter matchup of Tristana into the Corgi.
Already working out for the side of Wacky Race. Jonathan Isaac early into the mid lane though.
Yeah, early fight in the mid lane. Yusejin having to use that flash, but once again, the Ivern providing shields, but not enough for now as Jonathan Isaac will flash forward to secure himself first blood in game 3.
First blood for the Trundle in game 3. A little bit of miscommunication there of the Pandas as it ends up being a double flash on their side to secure that kill, but yeah, Robbery doing a great job of being there. This time around, the 100% win rate Ivern so far not going to be enough to keep his mid laner back on alive, and this is kind of what I wanted to see from the side of Pandas, because when you pick Tristana mid, you have to play aggressive into something like a Corki. That is why you picked Tristana, because every time your bombing is off CD, you need to jump the Corki, you need to make sure he has a bad time, or otherwise he just gets to scale for absolutely free, which is something you don't want to do when picking the Tristana mid. So it is good to see that the side of Blazing Pandas are already adapting, already punishing Yusejin, but now it is Robbery's turn to try to punish this bot lane, but it does end up being a ward, which means he's gonna recall, he's gonna go back to base, and the bot lane of the Blazing Panda should be completely fine.
Yeah. And kind of a similar story to the last game where in the early stages, the earliest parts of the lane, I don't imagine these guys to fight too much, but once some skirmishes come in, this game could break wide open as Jonathan Isaac hanging around in top lane, no flash, but does have pillar. K's Maze gets bopped away by a beautiful pillar from Jonathan Isaac, and another successful gank for the Trundle means 2 kills on the board for Pandas, and look at the wave. That is a top laner's nightmare.
Yeah, the wave is an absolute atrocity for K's Maze right now. It's gonna have the TP, so it's not as bad as it could be if he didn't have the TP. And I think this is gonna fall under the tower, so Michidi gonna have to match the TP as well, just to make sure he does not miss out on this big wave in the top lane. Lurk's gonna get talked with the Braum passive here, but a jump in.
Ooh, yeah, Boona does get knocked up by Lurks, and actually, the bot lane of Wacky Race losing out on the trade as Sanix is able to fire some arrows back. Great trade there from Panda's bot lane, and nice movement from Lurk to get a knock up into Bootner. And Desa, actually, one criticism I've always had of Bootner is he is a big fan of melee range AD carry.
Yeah, definitely. So I think when you look at him, especially early on, I think, in my opinion, one of Butner's big weaknesses, while yes, it did work out for him in game one with the Sivir, is his early laning phase. I think for me, as I'm gonna have to hold a thought.
Yeah, gank in mid lane as Jonathan Isaac once again looking to make his mark, but that's the value of the Ivan as Usejin's bomb is ticking away, and Robbery saves his mid laner from impending doom instead. Mishidaka gets a solo kill onto K's Maze, and the zombie Scion will not have enough movement speed to bounce back, and 2-0 on the Cassante. But once again, Usejin jumping forward aggressively, trying to fight with the Ivan, knowing that Robbery will be able to shield and protect the Tristana. Instead, won't get the kill this time around, but you can see with an Ivan there, you can play so aggressively as Usejin gets bailed out by Robbery in that gank.
Gets bailed out indeed. Jonathan Isaac with a little bit of an overstep, I want to say, in the mid lane, gets rooted under the tower, ends up falling as well. So far, it is 3 kills to 1 for the side of the Pandas. Michidi so far a great game for himself, and Summonix, you can really just tell the item diversity on the top side of the map right now, because they both got a Sheen, they both got a Kindle Jolm, and I think we both know the item they're going.
Oh yeah, of course we know what this is. Yeah, this is well, I think they're both going. They might be going for different items. I think Jonathan Isaac might go for Sunderer, and Mishidaka might be going for Iceborne Gauntlet, which is usually the popular one. I think with Cassante, you can go either Iceborne or Jack-Show. Some people even go Heartsteel, but I think that's more of an arena specific one. Iceborne Gauntlet for Cassante and Divine Sunderer for Trundle is what I expect to come out.
Yeah, definitely. So same here as well. I have quite been enjoying the arena mode. It is meant to be permanent now as well, so we'll see how
I hope so.
ends up lasting. As you know, Riot has a tendency to take away everything being loved. So far, we are seeing a little bit more trading in the top side as well. Michidi this time around is gonna lose about half of his health bar. K's Maze about to do the same thing, but you can see the all-out from Michidi is about to be up once more, so I feel like K's Maze needs to be a little bit careful because he has been solo killed once. He does not want to get solo killed again.
No, probably not a good look if you are to drop once more. I think one thing for K's Maze, he does have a farm lead, so that is a tiny victory. As I see a fight happening in top lane as Sionaut gets used, Ghost popped as well. Mishidaka once again winning out on the trade into the Sion. Seems like the carry top laners were not working for him, but this Cassante is definitely working for him. There's a fight potentially breaking out in the bot lane. Lurg's knockup gets flashed away by Butner, and a lovely Braum ultimate knocks up everyone from Blazing Pandas. I've never seen a Braum hard carry a team fight like that in my life, as the captain, Elrat of Wacky Rates, is going to carry through and win out the fight for his team. And a beautiful Braum ult will secure this dragon for them.
And this is why Summonix, you highlighted the usefulness of the Braum earlier on. Butner just gets kept alive right there, gets to deal so much damage at the back end, especially once the spray and pray is activated. Tenchu gets your free fire really into the team fight. And I feel like this top lane, the trade does favor the K's Maze just because Michidi not as much threat once the all-out has been used. But again, the bot lane fight is what we want to pay attention to, and just great job from Elrat to peel everyone away from Butner there. Unfortunately, Usejin does not end up picking up Sanix there. Sanix ends up taking it out with a flash on over the wall. But there's a solo kill in the top lane, and I said it wouldn't be a good look if K's Maze falls against Summonix, but looks like he's gonna fall again nonetheless.
He is indeed, as well, the other side of the map is looking great for Wacky Rates, but one side that isn't looking great is the top lane. Well, Jonathan Isaac will start up Rift Herald, and Robbery has now spotted that out. Rift Herald being brought to 4k HP. No movement, immediate movement just yet from the mid laners, as they now have started to enter the river. This could be a breakout fight. They already lost a fight at Dragon, and this is crucial if they lose this one. Jonathan Isaac getting rooted up, knocked up, does have flash available. What on earth are you doing, lad? He tries to go for the smite, and not winning that out. Robbery does get that jungle diff in. Jonathan Isaac forced a flash away to safety, and it's not a good look for the jungler of Pandas after such a good early game.
I think this is a questionable call, to say the least, out of
Yeah.
no tools to work with. He ends up having TP as well. So if Jonathan Isaac just waits until this Corki gets his base off and TP's back, he has tools to help out his jungler. But Jonathan Isaac ends up going at it alone, and with the Prio coming out of the Tristana as well. This is why the Tristana can be so good in the early game, because there are not a lot of champions in the mid lane that can push out a Tristana in the early game, and that's why you can see it become useful right there in the top side fight, as well as Michidi trying to keep Case Maze busy ends up doing so. Doesn't even need the top laner there to finish that one off. It's gonna be 2 plates secured so far for Usajin, with him being 2-1-1 as well. This is exactly the kind of start you want for a Tristana deck.
Yeah, Usajin looking great on the Tristana as well, and I think one thing to note is the Corki power spike is not going to come in for a while. One thing I noticed, well, I'll stop myself there. I'll carry on in a bit because Jonathan Isaac has arrived into the bot lane, but so has Robbery. A 3v3 is breaking out. One more Braum stack will start up the Trundle, but instead it will just be the back off chord for Pandas as, yeah, it's so tricky to fight into the Ivan, but onto my point is Corki's... there's some more fighting apparently. Flash has been blown, and it seems like non-stop fighting all across the board. Herald gets spawned into the mid lane. Now the jungle and support of Blazing Pandas now will start moving over to try and defend. Corkis, they usually actually build Muramana first, so that they can stack that whilst completing the rest of the items. Rain D has not done that.
He is going to be building with the components, at least so far, his inventory heading towards that direction. You can see so far another fight in the bot lane though.
Oh yes, Elrat using that Glacial Fissure to knock up 2 as Sanix and Lurgs now getting flanked on by Kaze Maze, the Scion behind, but not out, as he's going to find some usefulness into this team fight. Bootner and Usajin getting 1 kill apiece as the carries of Wacky Wraiths will be smiling for that one despite losing their support. The gold lead now in their hands. That's the thing about the Scion and Kaze Maze on Scion. Always finds himself being useful.
And I think that's just with champion mastery, right? Like, we talk about Case Maze, and you often mention as well as him being the sort of Scion connoisseur in the top lane of the SLE. You can see him being zoned out of the way for now. Michichu trying to beat him up a little bit, but Case Maze is gonna ignore him for now. And back to my earlier point, it just shows the champion mastery, right? When you fall behind, you can still be useful, especially on tank champions, especially on things like a Scion. You can still make a difference, even if you're 0-1-3. And I think that's one of the things Case Maze as a player is really good at. He seems to never give up, whether he's 3-0, whether he's 0-1-3, always tries to find ways to help his team, always tries to find a way to get his team ahead if he can't get himself ahead. So far, ends up making a difference in that bot lane, and assist is gonna be to his name as well. But the gold lead, despite the side of Blazing Pandas top lane being up 3-0, they're actually down by about 1k gold right now.
Yeah, down by a little bit, but not exactly out of the game for now. They will start up this dragon, and they do have the Corki package available, so a big potential team fight for them as Rain D does jump forward to try catch out the bot lane, but it's not going to do anything. As I said, this Corki just has no damage right now, as the facilitators of Wacky Wraiths are trying to hold down the front line of Blazing Panda. Isaac just gets absolutely shredded by Bootner. Case Maze now trying to do the frontline work for Wacky Wraiths. Missy Darko is a strong Cassandra. He's going to take out Elrat, but a massive shutdown going into the hands of the Tristana. He's going to get the confidence to jump forward onto 1, onto 2. The resets come through. Rain D taking away from the poison, but will survive for now. And Wacky Wraiths win a crucial team fight in the 15-minute mark of this game.
Yeah, and Rain D, like you said, the Corki just does not have any damage so far into the game. Meanwhile, Usajin already Kraken Slayer finished up, is gonna pump more than enough damage to win this fight for his team. And I wanna say, great alley-oop here with the bomb as well to do so much AoE damage
Yeah.
before the fight even started. Jonathan Isaac ends up being the first one to go down, gonna be finished by Butner, and just a great follow-up coming out from the rest of the team. Nichidi tries to get into the backline, ends up getting the one, but it is only the support meanwhile champion, because sometimes he does more work than any other champion on the team.
Yeah, beautifully played from the carries of Wacky Wraiths. And I think the struggles of Pandas here is if Lurk can't find a multi-man engage, that's it. Blazing Pandas have nothing else to chase the carries of Wacky Wraiths is. You see, Jonathan Isaac was trying his best to push forward there as a solo kill. And it is dominating Rain D in this series. Well, not the last game, but game one.
Yeah, you might not be brewing in the top lane.
Brewing indeed as Lurks finds a jump on to Butner, but it's actually going to go down. So the Rat has no DPS in this fight. Mishitaka uses the all-out, and the chase onto Case Maze as well means Wacky Wraiths, they will fall down in this fight, and this could be crucial. Mishitaka takes the blast cone on behind to Case Maze. The Scion is now under threat as the Cassante is a much squishier version of himself in the all-out, but with 4 members, sorry, they will complete the dive, and Case Maze will go down to the 6 kills of Mishitaka, and the top laner of Pandas having a blast of a game in this one.
Definitely. So Case Maze not having a good time in the top lane, but the key thing is, the Case Maze, he's died so many times, this man is not worth much gold. Yes, it is a kill, something Blazing Pandas desperately need at the moment, but it is Usagin who's got the big 600G bounty on his head. He is wanted for all sorts of things on the Rift at the moment. Usagin looking for another aggressive play down on the bot lane. You can see this is why this is scary to let the Tristana be ahead, because once she is ahead, Tristana is actually one of those marksmen, one of those AD carries that can 1v1 a lot of other people that aren't marksmen later on into the game if he does get ahead, but Lurks could change that with a 2v1 down towards the bot lane.
Yeah, it could potentially change that as Lurks finding himself behind Eastgen. We'll see if he can create some sort of flank here. There are no members to deal damage for now, but Lurks has found himself in a great position here. He might get a catch onto the Tristana. No flash available. Using the jump early, and Lurks won't follow through just in case any members are behind him. And at the moment, this Tristana, not the most popular mid laner right now, but putting the champion on the mark and putting the champion back on the map with a beautiful performance.
I think that is great determination out of Lurks there, but great restraint as well, because a lot of people there would have tried to pop the ultimate on the Rakan. They would have tried to pop the quickness, maybe try to get the grand entrance, but Lurks recognizes that there are no team members that are on enough damage, and most likely, at most, would have got the cooldown and the ultimate trade out of Usagin, which when you think of the value that the grand entrance can have in a team fight, and the value that the quickness can have in a team fight, definitely one not worth to trade the Tristana ultimate for it. But the Rift Roll in the mid lane, Nichidi in the sidelines, this could get interesting.
Yeah, this could get interesting, and Daisy gets popped down early, and it's hitting Sanix, which is a great target for Daisy to be focusing. Our Rat dropping the shield to protect any incoming damage, and actually Jonathan Isaac missteps forward. He's going to take the knockup from Case Maze, and a beautiful unstoppable onslaught onto multiple members of Blazing Pandas. Mishitaka under the enemy turret gets shut down by Robbery, and Wacky Race, they will not push forward. They've already taken down 2 members of Pandas, and the carries are left to flee away. The Corki and Varus just do not have enough damage right now, as they are just left to wave clear. Dragon spawning soon. Wacky Race already winning the early fight.
Already taking in charge of themselves of the game. You can see Jonathan is trying to get his jungle, but keep in mind the vision control does favor like
Onto that Trundle here, will pop the bomb, looking for the reset. The pillar is going to slow the Tristana for now. Jonathan Isaac will be able to get himself away as his teammates are impending, as a package available now for Rain D. This is going to be crucial because Soul Point is available if Wacky Race get this. Butner has just come from base, so he will be late to the arrival of this dragon. The pack Mishi Darko now finding himself onto the flanks of Wacky Race, but Usejin is a strong Tristana. Bootner invisible. There is no information onto where the switch is. Blazing Pandas trying to DPS this dragon out. Lurgs being brought to low HP, and a catch on to Jonathan Isaac, and this Trundle is gone from the fight. The package hasn't done anything significant for now. Usejin and Rain D in a 1v1 on the side. Double kill coming in already for Bootner, and the fight looks like it's going into the way of Wacky Race. Jump forward from Usejin, and a triple kill coming out from Bootner. The Twitch is absolutely free hitting. Quadra kill coming in for the AD carry, returning for Wacky Race this time around. And once again, they went out of the fight, and this will be sole point for them.
Randy, you gotta get away. No pentakill for Usejin so far. It does mean Team Sheffield will remain the latest pentakill collector in SLE, but you can see, like you said, the package not really doing much work in that fight. Randy has to flash over the wall just to get away from Usejin. This Corki, again, not late enough into the game for him to do anything. Ends up living with a sliver of health in that bottom side, but meanwhile it is just the ta in the bot side. River Bootner, like you said, free fires pretty much doing the entire team fight, and not only that, but Baron is gonna be on the cards here as well. So if the side of Blazing Pandas have another team fight like that, if they fall once more, it is gonna be Baron for the side of Wacky Race. Usejin, meanwhile, keep in mind this man does have TP up, so can side lane, and definitely can still look to create some pressure.
Yeah, potentially, and the game is starting to get really tricky now. 7 kills apiece for both carries of Wacky Rates, and it doesn't look like Pandas can do much about it. You can see Randy's damage is potentially enough to take down K's Maze, as now Lurgs will try and supply some backup here. The Scion is going to go down. That's going to be a big kill for the Corki. Lurgs jumping away now because the carries are arriving for Wacky Rates, and the damage from Usejin is massive as he's going to go legendary. Mishi Darko next on the menu as the Cassandra is going to teleport to the fight just to go down. Bootner goes unstoppable. 8 kills now each for the 2 AD carries of Wacky Race. And now focus onto the Baron as Sanix is going to get a chain of corruption onto the Tristana. This could be massive for them. Shutdown going into the hands of Jonathan Isaac as the Tristana is going to fall. Now the Tristana is down, which means the Twitch is the AD carry alive for Wacky Race. They will back away for the Baron as their mid laner is going to fall. And it's a consolation prize for Blazing Pandas to get the Tristana down.
Usejin falling is going to be enough to get them off the Baron buff, but look who the shutdown goes to. It goes to Jonathan Isaac, which is not your ideal target, and especially when we are looking at the Trundle build here as well. This man is going full tank. He wants to be the front line, and having 1k gold on a tank Trundle is not going to be enough to switch this game around. If that gold went on to Sanix right there, it would have been perfect for the side of the Pandas, but for now it doesn't mean that Jonathan is going to finish up his second item of the game. But they're in the mid lane though, looking for a little bit of a sneaky catch, gonna be disguised on the rat, but is gonna get away this time around. The Rain D, so far, like you said, Somanix, he's slowly scaling up. He's onto 1 item, but if he can get himself some more, he's gonna start doing damage.
Yeah, indeed. As well, Wacky Rates right now. I mean, we talked about the double marksman combination here, and it is paying massive dividends for them because they're just doing so much damage. You can see, like, the DPS coming out from Corki just is not enough. It isn't doing enough damage. He does finally get that Mirror Mana completed, so a bit more damage coming in now, but it might be a little bit too late because, yeah, this Twitch Tristana is so goddamn strong.
Yeah, especially when you're looking at the 2 marksmen scaling into the late game. Marksman known as one of the champion classes in League that scales the best when they get items and scales best onto the later stages of the game. And I'm looking at these objective timers. It is 1:30 until Soul for the side of Wacky Race. There's a 1v1 in the bottom lane. Michidi gonna burn some HP, but I feel like neither of them are gonna die.
Yeah, neither of them are going to die now because they are stacked up. The HP will be a tricky one to take either of them out. So yeah, Dasa Pandas now, they drop this game and they're facing match point on Wacky Rates' side. What do they need to do to not drop this game? Because best of 5s, Pandas are the specialists. They always win. They always seem to win that game 5, but they need to get there. And if Wacky Rates win this, they're 1 game away from going and booking their slot in the grand finals.
Yeah, they're masters of Game 5. It doesn't seem to be masters of Game 3 so far, as it has not gone their way. 3,000 gold down, and I think the key answer here is gonna be time. I think when you're looking at the options on the side of Pandas, there is scaling there. You've got the Corki in the mid lane, you've got Sanix with the on-hit build, which arguably is the best scaling build on Varus at the moment. You can see slowly working his way up towards the third item. Considering his components now, it doesn't seem like he's going to be opting in for the Radiant Virtue build this time on around, but if you can wait until Randy gets items on that Corki, wait until he becomes useful, maybe gets his third, fourth item. If you can survive till then, I think you have a chance, but for now, I think any fight you take against Yusujin at this point is gonna be lost.
Oh, he does get caught by the chain of corruption, but he's just gonna turn the DPS back onto Savage. Ray D being brought to low HP now, and a flash in from Mishidako. He uses the W on the all-out onto the Braum to try and get some openings onto Buna, but the DPS from Pandas is gone. There is no damage left. Mishidako forced to flash away to safety. Lurgs now on the run, trying to get away from Buna, but the last auto attack is gonna finish off the Rakan, which means Dragon Soul, Chemtech Drake will go into the hands of Blazing Pandas, and Wacky Race now in cruise control to close out game 3.
And yeah, it's gonna go to the side of Wacky Reds. Not only that, it's gonna be Soul going to the side of Wacky Reds. It's gonna be Baron buff, I think, as well, considering the respawn timers on the side of the Pandas. And this is what I mean. You need to keep Sanix alive, but you need to give Randy time and not take these fights. Sanix for Yusujin is never gonna be a worthy trade when you're thinking of the team fight tools on the side of the Pandas, and they end up trading very early on into that fight, which means Varus doesn't really get to do anything. And I need to be a little bit critical, but I might need to hold the thought as they are on the Baron buff, and you can see the side of Panda are around.
Baron started up, but with members arriving, Wacky Rates will pull off the aggro. Shields are so strong. Look at the value of the Ivan. K's Maze has been eating so many spells. He hasn't even lost HP. The shield hasn't even been broken. No shield break or any sort of shield enhancing damage items coming out from Blazing Pandas. As I believe Varus will be the only one who can complete Serpent's Fang, but a catch onto Yusejin is massive. Mishidoko gonna get that first kill of the fight as Lurgs. Beautiful look and beautiful pick coming onto the Tristana. Now there's only one marksman available, but it is a strong one indeed, as Butner is still alive. The Baron now going to be the focus for Blazing Pandas. This could be the opening that they need to get back into this game. Kazemaze did not complete the recall, so he is hanging around. Wacky Race, they will contest this. They will not back down as Elrat encounters Lurgs into the Pixel Bush, and a beautiful promo splits the entire team fight in half. Butner opens up onto Lurgs and is now going to start DPSing the front line robbery, trying to kite away. Daisy is going to go down, but he's still kiting the members of Pandas. They brought Kazemaze down to low HP, but it's not going to be enough for now, as he does have teleport available. And look who's come alive. Yusejin has been brought back into the field as my doorbell is ringing. So Daisy, I'm going to have to ask you to take this one.
As the doorbell rings, we'll see who ends up being behind the door there. For some next could be an early visit from Senta. You never know, but so far it does seem like the side of Wacky Race, even with Yusujin falling early on and not really getting to do anything. And again, a great catch coming out from Lurks there. You can see the side of Pandas have not given up yet. They think they are still in this game, which, don't get me wrong, they certainly are if they can buy a little bit of time. But even with Yusujin falling, Butner ends up being the one who does all the damage in that team fight, ends up carrying the team throughout. And I gotta say, Elrad so far having a great game for himself on this Braum, which we talked about as well. Sovnik said can be so very influential in this game when you're looking at things like a Varus ultimate, looking at things like Randy missiles that you can block and deny the damage on. So far it is gonna be Dragon coming up in about 3 minutes, Elder Drake, but Baron on the cards right now. Butner is gonna open up on the team. It's gonna be Jonathan Isaac who ends up falling in the mid lane, as well as Sanix. They're gonna pick up 2 here. I think the poison is gonna be enough to take the Trundle, but Jonathan Isaac ends up living on 1 HP right there, as Sanix is gonna get taken out once more. But now Baron is gonna be on the cards here. You can see the side of Wacky Race, they are trying to opt in for it. Could look for a potential tier 1 down bot, because I don't think you can ever contest this as long as Sanix is going to be down. This Varus is so crucial for the success of your team, and you can see Michidi in the bot lane is gonna be able to pick up some bounty gold. I would hope so. Should be able to easily get this tower for himself, especially with having that Sheen proc on the
I'm
first
back.
tower gauntlet. But we have received Sovonix back, and Sovonix, while you were gone, there was a Baron secured. So
Oh!
there might be people at your door, but these teams are not willing to wait.
Yeah, so someone arrived at my door. But one thing that did arrive at someone's door is a Baron buff for Wacky Wraiths. It seems like they've sort of collected the Infinity Stones here. I believe they got the Herald, they got 4 dragons to 0. They have the Baron buff now, and doing so much work in this game as potential fires breaking through, but it will just be the ghost being popped by K's Maze. Probably won't end up too much as, yeah, they're just too strong right now.
Definitely too strong, and you can see so far no anti-healing coming out from the side of the Blazing Pandas. No, like you said earlier, shield breaking items, no Serpent's Fang or any of that kind. I would have liked to see Randy go for some early healing reduction, go for an early Oblivion Orb, as you can see them siege down the mid lane with this Baron buff, a usage in the bot lane. This could get hairy.
Lurks? Yeah, Lurks trying to get a flank onto the Wacky Wraiths team. Usejin now just going to catch out Lurks in his own jungle. No, because you can see the Corki has been allocated to bot lane, so there's not much wave clear here because the Varus does have to step up. Not a poke Varus, so the Q doesn't one-shot the wave, and this next wave should be able to finish the turret here as Michidako is going to go in, but just gets absolutely shredded. K's Maze gets the kill credit for that, and another beautiful Braum ultimate. The camera pans over to Usejin as he jumps over the wall, starts now DPSing onto the carries of Blazing Pandas. Double kill coming in for the Tristana already. Now it's Jonathan Isaac left to fight the world by himself. Elrat last auto attack to get the stun off, and boom, there goes Legendary, and a beautiful team fight for Wacky Wraiths. They are going to push through the Nexus. They are going to push through the game. Randy alt F4s trying to load up World of Warcraft potentially, because this game 3 is going to Wacky Wraiths.
And if the last game goes like this one went, I feel like Randy might not be too far away from getting into WoW, as the Elder Dragon did not even have a chance to spawn before the game ends up ending right there. And I gotta say, this Tristana pick is something I feel like Sovonix neither of us saw coming, neither of us really expected out of usage. And what a performance out of the Tristana mid.
Yeah, what a game indeed. And as I said at the start of the draft, I'm not a personal fan of the Tristana pick at the current time in this meta, but Corki is one of Usejin's best champions, so when it comes to knowing the counters to Corki, he's going to be the guy that knows the worst possible matchup, and he picked the Tristana, and on my screen, Randy got very hard clapped in that game.
I know what word you were looking for there, I think, but...
Yeah, I didn't want to say it.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. And Randy definitely not having a good game for himself on the court again. I think I'm not surprised, considering the champions Randy normally pilots. We saw him do great on the Azir in that game too. This time around on the Corki not having as much work. But again, Sanix just not having great positioning in those late game team fights means he did get caught out quite a lot as well. And no healing reduction, no shield breaking items on the side of Blazing Pandas means it's gonna be a Wacky Wraiths victory. Wacky Wraiths gonna be on match point as well as we head into our 4th game of the day. But gonna head into a little bit of a break before we do that, so get yourself strapped in, as this could be potentially the last game of the day, and potentially after this game we could see Wacky Wraiths in the finals up against Gucci, and stay tuned.
Well, well, well. We return back to this exhilarating best of 5 as Wacky Wraith. They are one. Wacky Wraiths, I feel like they've been put as the underdogs every step of the way. They took down Revel Links. They took down. And final.
Yeah, they have been taking down, I think, some of the toughest opponents we've had so far, especially Revel Links finishing at the top of the regular season in the standings as well. And 3 games later, into our game number 4, here we go, heading straight on into the draft. And you can already tell it has been an exciting game and series thus far. But I'm seeing
Oh no.
interesting picks, and Sovanix, my friend. Do my eyes deceive me, or is that?
I didn't quite catch what you said at the end, but I'm assuming you were talking about the R5 Sona.
I was talking about the Fiora.
I was also assuming you were talking about that too. Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Yeah. So Pepper has just said in our ears, Varus mid. Data. I believe Wacky Wraiths are going once again with the double AD carry combination. I think they know that Freak is in charge of the balance team right now. So they've gone for the double ADC once again, and it worked beautifully for them in game 1. But what I really don't like from Blazing Panda's team composition is not only does it not make sense, but Mishi Darko is on Fiora. Now, no disrespect to the player, but in order to find value on this Fiora, you need to be good enough. And like, again, no disrespect to him, he's just not one of those players that I consider to be good enough to be playing a champion like Fiora, especially with the stakes on the line.
Yeah, make sure to put your predictions in chat for finals between Wacky Wraiths and Gucci. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Of course. There is still League of Legends left to play, you know, we never know what happens, but I'm not a fan of this draft. I can't tell whether this is the lower bracket finals or whether it's a show match between Greasy Goblins and somebody else, because Greasy Goblins normally were the ones who were cooking in the show matches, and this is, so far, I feel like sign of the Pandas to get out the kitchen. To me, Sona is, in my opinion, this is completely subjective, but Sona to me is the worst enchanter support, I think, in this patch. I have had no success in solo queue, at least, when I'm with a Sona. And when I'm against Sona, it kind of feels like it's paper mache. It just sits there and does nothing. You're extremely squishy. I think Seraphine and both Soraka do everything that Sona does but a million times better, which is why my immediate draft win goes over to Wacky Wraiths, and I especially agree with you on everything you said on Fiora as well.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. I don't think this is even a discussion. I think Wacky Wraiths have dominated the draft. I'm kind of looking at what Blazing Pandas can do to win this out, and it's like, you can rely on Sanix, you can rely on Rain D maybe, but Rain D has gotten absolutely destroyed by Usurgent in the series, except for the Azir game. Sanix has looked decent, but I think not good enough. I think the support gap is just too big for Pandas to deal with. And, you know, once again, Robbery has the Wukong, and he's had 2 games of this champion so far. One game was excellent. The other game, very opposite of excellent. So I'm not sure what to expect of Robbery's Wukong here, but I guess we'll head straight into the game and see for ourselves, because they said, once again, the winner, if Wacky Wraiths win this game, they book their spot against Gucci Yin at the SLE Split 5 Grand Finals. And if Blazing Pandas win this game, they are the masters of Game 5. They also book themselves a spot in the Grand Final. So essentially, I mean, like, if you're Wacky Wraiths here, stats speak for themselves. This is the last game, right? And you got to win this. And I'm taking a look at their draft. Varus mid as something that maybe you can dissect a little bit more, because it's not something I've seen in a while. but Wacky Raid seem to have the perfect draft to close out this series.
Yeah, I think this Varus mid is giving me flashbacks to the time when Varus top was a thing where you would just, before it was nerfed, you would just go full AP, and you've all seen those clips where there's like a 5k HP Mundo, and you just go bop, and he's kind of just gone with WQ. Back when Varus of AP was sort of still being discovered, before it became too OP and then ended up being nerfed, but Varus mid is something we are yet to see. I would expect it, or before heading into this game, I would have expected it to be lethality. But looking at the PTA on Usagin, I think it is gonna be more on hit Varus, potentially the Radiant Virtue tech we did talk about earlier, and I'll be interested to see how this ends up working out. It is gonna be TP versus TP, but in my opinion, Nico as a champion struggles in a little bit into this ranged matchup because Nico can definitely look for advantages in the laning phase, but you can already see Case Maze trying to hide the Vital, playing this lane very well from level 1 Michidi, not getting the better end of that trade, and already the Fiora in the top lane not working out in these early levels.
Yeah. Once again, Michi Darko, it's a tough one, and I've seen a Fiora Sion matchup before. And actually, Fiora does win, but once those items come in, and actually, wait, Michi Darko, wait, he's actually having to force the flash, and this might be first blood coming in from Case Maze 2 minutes into the game. They're not even level 2. Michi Darko is already blowing the flash, and is going to have to teleport back to no summoner spells for the Fiora.
No summoner spells, already Case Maze putting down the pressure in that top lane, but I think if we're gonna look at it objectively, if we're gonna look at the ways that the Pandas can win this game, if somehow Wacky Raids end up losing with this because of a draft gap, there is the Nocturne. Nocturne is always a wild card when it comes to a team. The second you hit level 6, the second you hit that paranoia, if you can influence these lanes enough where they get a lead, you can definitely look for
hold up
pace
a
in the
minute.
early game, and we have a
we'll get
trade of kills in the top lane.
Yeah, a trade kill coming in the top lane. Michi Darko does get first blood, but I'm taking a look at his wave. No teleport available. This could be a tricky one for the Fioras. I actually think with Sion being level 4 to level 2, this does benefit him more than the Fiora.
Should benefit him more. TP gonna be used to return as well. Like you said yourself, Sovanix, no TP on Michidi. He's gonna lose the cannon. He's gonna get the XP though, so it is not all doom and gloom for him. So far, this mid lane very even on CS, very even all things around. Outside of this top lane so far, you can see Michidi, not the greatest CS numbers in the world, but so far that hasn't really bothered him. That hasn't really stopped him from still taking the absolute brawl that we've seen the top lane be so far in this series. And I think we do need to see the side of Blazing Pandas play this game a little bit slower before Jonathan Isaac hits 6. And I think once you get 6 on this Nocturne, that's when you hit the turbo pedal.
Ooh.
But Isaac in the top lane?
Yeah, Jonathan Isaac has arrived into the top lane. No ghost available for Case Maze, and not level 6. Robbery is slowly behind him, so this could break out as a 2 versus 2. Knockup isn't going to get used. The parry is going to slow down the Sion, and Michi Darko is going to get 2 kills on the board. And maybe I'm eating my own words because he might indeed be that guy. I'm going to have to keep talking because Elrat has arrived into the mid lane. Doesn't quite land the soccer ball, as Lionel Messi is getting old now, so missing out on that one. But instead, Usagin gonna land the DPS, and a successful roam into the mid lane means that once again, the mid laner of Pandas is gonna lose out to Usagin.
And again, not only to Usagin, but to Elrat. A great roam coming out of the Milio there. Unfortunately, like you said, the soccer ball does end up going a little bit wide, but does not matter at the end of the day. The burn comes on down. Elrat ends up helping out the mid lane. A little bit more trading in the bot lane, but with Sanix's feathers going extremely wide, it's not going to be resorting to any kills whatsoever. Ocean Dragon going to be the first dragon of the game, a pretty strong one at that. So I would imagine both of these teams do want to brawl for that.
Yeah, first dragon to be the Ocean Drake is massive for both teams. The regeneration that can come from the laning phase, obviously not as much as the soul, but definitely great in these early stages. And Data, you were talking about the Sona earlier on, it kind of just sits there. Is there anything that the Sona provides to this team composition?
I think when you're looking at the Sona, there is a support that I mean, I have a few support on my friends list, but there is a support that I tend to play with on a regular basis who makes the case to me that Sona is useful because of the 40% damage reduction she can give, and I believe it is her enhanced W, if I'm not completely mistaken. That does provide some value to the Sona, as well as the CC. Once you hit level 6, you do have the sustain as well, but to me, yeah, she's one of those champions.
Whoa,
Where-
that is not
yeah,
how you use Fiora parry. As Kazme is gonna land a knock at Mishidaka, might get solo killed.
man.
He was that guy up until the point that he hit level 5, and Kazme's 1 HP away from getting himself a solo kill. Ding's level 6, and Mishidaka. Yeah, this is what I mean about picking champs like Fiora. Like, what was that parry? It was like, you know, people with good reactions can parry in time. And then there's people who like, I don't know, doesn't
Do that. Yeah, it's a little bit rough in the top side, but Case Maze, he's getting really unlucky this game, I gotta admit. First the low HP on that level 1, now this again. He's getting pretty unlucky in this top lane, but I'm looking at Jonathan Isaac here, Sylvanix, and this man is level 5. He's gonna be hitting level 6 after the crowd camp, as I presumed, and I'm probably looking into this mid lane because Randy has Flash, Randy has Pop Blossom, and has a lot of tools at his disposal.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking about Nico. I can imagine he gets completely outscaled by the Varus mid lane here. So it's really important that once this level 6 comes in, which it has, it's time to start making plays onto this immobile AD carry in the mid lane, because, you know, what I would do here is like you make a gank to blow the flash and then you repeat gank to get the kill, and just do that, rinse and repeat, and punish picking an immobile AD carry in the mid lane.
Yeah, definitely. So that is why generally you do prefer the Tristana, just because it has a little bit of mobility with the rocket jump. But we talked about the first dragon, we talked about it being brawled on by both of the teams, but looks like only one team is gonna be interested this time on around. It's gonna be the Pandas that are gonna be picking this one up very early on the side of Wacky Raids. Don't wanna do any early fights against the Nocturne, a little bit too scared. Are just happy to handshake the Rift Herald in the top lane. And Sylvanix, where would you prioritize this Rift Herald? With which lane would you really use it on if you were the side of Wacky Raids?
I mean, I'm taking a look at the farm numbers here. Big CS lead in top, big CS lead in mid. So you kind of just want to supply some gold into the bot lane here. And, you know, with the Sona Xayah, they are able to get the push and the shove onto the Sivir and Milio. So giving them some support in this bot lane will be exactly what they need, because it seems like the solo lanes are going fine for them as Mishidako dashes forward. Oh, God, I don't even... gosh. Yeah.
It's a good flash.
Yeah.
It's a good flash, I suppose. You know, lost of all Ocelot, you know. You know? It's a good.
Oh yeah, Fiora has a shutdown. That's
you
been
can just,
like 20 CS down.
you can just see Riot's bounty system. Really, just it's just so good. It's just so good. Is it not Sylvanix equaling gold in the top lane? Yet he has a bounty when he's down on CS.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, 200 years of Riot's developing
Yeah.
experience coming through clutch. Once more.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that. do you ever get those games? You hold tab, your top laner's like, I don't know, 2 and 8, and he's just got like a 250 gold shutdown for no reason, and you're just like, you're telling me if my Inter dies, they get more gold.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit questionable. I got that.
Yeah. And yeah, well, I mean, top lane so far not going great for Mishidako, and I mean, you know, critical as we can be about picking a champion like Fiora in such a high stakes game. I think a lot of credit does have to go to Kaze Maze. He is a Sion specialist. He probably knows the ins and outs of every matchup that Sion has to face, and yeah, he's definitely not, despite being behind on a kill, is farming very, very well in this lane. As actually ultimate goes onto the Varus, and Rain D gonna alter an invisible Shaco clone. I'm kidding. It was a nice gang to get the flash out, and well, this is a massive opening for Pandas now to expose this Varus as much as they can.
Definitely so, and I think Reindeer pulling the trigger a little bit too early because that's, I think, the ideal play. If you look at it from the side of the Pandas, is you want to paranoia in the mid
Oh.
lanes, you have a solo kill on the top lane.
What?
He's just dead.
Well, there goes the shutdown. Oh, fighting bot lane breaks out as Lurgs is gonna flash away, but it's gonna get taken down by Robbery nonetheless, and it looks like Blazing Pandas. We kind of talked about their draft and what it needs to do, but it's already falling apart in the early game. Top lane looks disastrous, mid lane looks disastrous, and already 2v2 breaking out in the bot lane. Keep your eyes on definitely not Mishi Darko, because that is indeed Reindeer on the Nico. Trying to look for a potential play here, but nothing on the cards. Nocturne Ultimate not available. It will just be Sanix left to clear the wave. 4 kills to 2 for Wacky Race and Dasa. I've said this many, many times, but this is match point for them. They could be on the brink of getting to the grand finals.
They definitely look like they're playing well and playing like they are gonna make their way there. Definitely have the motivation. It's gonna be Herald in the bot lane, like you said. Sovanix gotta get some gold onto Butner. Already played the game earlier on the Sivir, looked great in that game. So I'm not at all surprised that they are trusting the Herald gold into his hands once more. And we talk so much about the importance of the first ultimate on the Nocturne. Not only does it give you good gold, does it give you good money, but it gives you that all warranted stack on the ultimate hunter as well, reducing your next ultimate cooldown even further. And this time around is not gonna be working. I think the ideal play
Hey, yo.
to paranoia the mid lane first, then use the flash pop blossom combo out of Rain D to secure the kill later on. But again, a fair trade that doesn't go in favor of Michi D in the top lane.
No, and speaking of trades, look at the farm deficit that Mishi Darko is in the counter matchup as well. And the thing about Fiora is that when ahead, you are such a lethal unit on the map. But when you're behind, it's a rough one, as Mishi Darko might get solo killed once again. Unstoppable Onslaught, Mishi Darko with the grand challenge. Only proccing 1 vital for now, does have others available, but instead Kazema's the confident one. It looks like Kazema's got the counter pick as he's now walking aggressively behind Mishi Darko's own turret in the counter matchup. I have to say, that is pure confidence exuberating out of the Scion as Robbery is going to find Lurgs once again. He's going to get himself the second kill of the game. Usegin teleports down, try to find a catch onto Sanix, and a beautiful Nocturne Ultimate coming out of Jonathan Isaac means that he's going to find Butner. So this could be exactly what Blazing Pandas needed. Rain D is going to find a beautiful ultimate onto multiple members of Wacky Race, and this could be their route back into this game.
This time Randy doesn't ult the ghost in the mid lane. He's had enough of that ghost in the bot lane. Instead, a 2-man pop blossom out of the Nico. Like you said, Sovanix, that is exactly what you want out of your mid jungle duo. Gonna even up the gold as well. We take a look back on this play. I think a great initial catch coming up from Robber here with the Cyclone onto Lurgs as well. The paper mache is gonna fall like I talked about earlier. Sanix with a great Blade Caller flash here to get Butner under tower. Jonathan Isaac with a flash follow-up as well, and Elrad just ends up falling, but this pop blossom on top of everything else, just such a beautiful play coming on. Now Dragon is gonna be picked up as well, and we talked a little bit about the Pandas comp. Both of us agreed that it's not very good, but Sovanix, 2 dragons in their pocket. Dragon Soul is always a win code you can play for.
Yeah, and if they get the soul, they're going to put themselves in a fantastic position to win this game. I think one thing for Pandas that they need to make sure to do is to stop the bleeding on the top side, because the last thing you want to do is get to these mid to late game fights and your Fiora is just a fencing, like, high school junior, where you're essentially just poking people with a stick. Yeah, the Fiora not looking in a great spot right now, and well, losing Dragon is not great for Wacky Race, but they will respond with a Herald of their own. So yeah, and as you said, this Nocturne pick could be the wild card factor for Pandas, as Jonathan Isaac is having a great game on the Nocturne in this one.
Definitely having a great game thus far, and Yeah, I think I have seen junior high schoolers do more damage than Michidi so far has
Oh
on the
my
Fiora, so
god.
definitely. No, it's all jokes. It is all jokes. He's currently scaling. He is scaling. You know, with Tazi Divine
Yep.
Center, Fiora has been known to hit these item spikes and start actually doing damage, but so far, like we said, not having a great game. As it does continue, like you said, CS lead growing in the top lane. Jonathan Isaac so far 2-0-2 on this Nocturne Stridebreaker. Gonna be finished up as well. Stridebreaker is something we have seen for a while. Pivotal Nocturne, no longer is it full glass cannon assassin Umbral Glaive. Hope you one-shot him before he one-shots you. You got a little bit more HP in your pockets as Case Mace is gonna be getting Michidi so damn low, and I'm
Yeah.
sensing another solo kill coming.
Yeah, it could be, as Kazema's now playing so aggressive underneath the turret of Mishidako. Can see on the mini map there, Jonathan Isaac making his way to the top side of the map. Imagine if Mishi D will just base teleport back and potentially look for a gank onto the Scion. So we'll have to wait and see if that happens.
Yeah, gonna have to wait if he uses the paranoia in the top lane. Gonna be honest, even shorter cooldown now that he has hit level 11. If he does end up opting in for it, you can see Michidi is hunting, he's looking, but guess it's the wrong bush, wrong 50-50 this time around, young man, and he is gonna get Case Maze to base, gonna get Case Maze the hell out of there. This time it's gonna be the Sunfire Cape first item in the top lane. Robbery as well has finished his first item. Most of, actually everyone in this game has already finished up their first item. So more damage gonna be coming through. It means shorter fights, but Case May still. Sylvanix, we've seen what this man can do late game on Sion. We saw the unkillable monster he was, and that was a game where he wasn't even ahead.
No. Yeah, I think Kazemay Sion, it's often easy to look like you're not doing much on a tank. If that's your role in a team, is actually I'm going to stop myself here because Yusejin is getting jumped on by Jonathan Isaac and Lurgs. Actually, hold on a minute, that's not Lurgs, that's Rain D on the Nico, and he's going to pick up his kill, his second kill of the game. And once again, another duel happening in the top lane as Kazemay playing this perfectly. Mishidako forced a flash, and this could be another solo kill going into the hands of the Sire. Now going to play to the wall, holding the Q, and a beautifully played 1 versus 1 once more from Kazemay. Mishidako is going to get solo McBollard once again. Lurgs, red buff ticking, but will survive for now. And Sanix actually might potentially push forward here, and Jonathan... And a beautiful person is going to catch on to Boona, so he's going to get the kill. Robbery, going to get a shot down onto the Nico. Look who's arrived as Yusejin, getting blocked up by the Milio, and that's not that much damage for now. But instead, Wacky Wraith, they will drop the Sivir, and a great ultimate coming out from Rainy, but unfortunately he falls as well.
Yeah, not a lot of damage out of Yusejin quite on yet. All the board finished off, you know. Radiant Virtue coming through.
I was like, when he TP'd in, I was like, oh, here we go. And then his auto attack took like 12 HP off Nocturne. I was like, oh, right. Yeah.
I think Elra's passive burn might have done more than Yusejin's auto attack right there, but no kills so far. Gonna go out of that play for the way of Wacky Race. And you can see this time around, we are gonna see the Radiant Virtue tech that we talked about last game, which didn't end up happening, but this time around we are gonna get it in the mid lane. And like you said, it's Sylvanix. Yusejin is going to be a scaling machine on the on-hit virus in the mid lane, so definitely keep your eyes on the lookout for that. But you can see the Dragon timer, you can see the Baron timer, 30 seconds until the Baron, but now the Dragon is going to be the big target. Cloud Dragon as well is going to be Soul Point if the other Pandas can collect.
They will secure themselves their first Dragon of the game. With no Heralds available, Legend Pandas won't be able to answer back with anything, and I'm seeing Mishidako is proxy farming, so I don't know if they're fighting each other right now, but they could be as movements start happening towards the top lane. Instead, it will just be the back off, and well, Dragon secured, stopping the soul sweep from Pandas is big for Wacky Wraith here.
And I think so far this has been a complete turnaround. When you look at Robert's performance on the Monkey, we saw last game that it wasn't really too influential. And we saw that he didn't really do too much to affect the team. But this time, Michidi gonna throw a thumbs up as he's still getting out-traded by the side.
Yeah, still getting out-traded, but Jonathan Isaac finding a paranoia jump onto Elrab. Amelia, a very protective champion, is going to be able to support herself away from the dangers of Jonathan Isaac. And oh, I hear a Cyanart, so there's going to be a fight in top lane. Michi Darko once again being brought to low HP. Kazema's going to hug the wall to block that last vital, but Michi Darko playing that very, very nicely, being able to get that out. And a beautiful parry, that's exactly how you do it. And Kazema's, this might be his time to fall. This is a massive shutdown if Fiora can pick this up. And Michi Darko, one last auto attack is going to do the... Lyrics?
That's,
Oh,
it's a little
my.
bit rough. It's not the ideal situation where you're looking. I
Oh,
think you wanted the shutdown to go on to Michi D. Sovanix is not a happy man, ladies and gentlemen.
Why? Just what? Why?
It means that
He's
Lurk
dead.
can die like 0.2 seconds slower
Oh.
because he's Sona. He's really useful, I promise.
Wacky Rats are gonna win this game.
He locked in Sona, that was always gonna happen. I'm sorry, I just really hate this champion.
Oh no, I hate the champion too now. I hate the champion too.
I really just don't think she does an entire whole lot.
You,
Like,
you know,
you know.
if this was solo queue and I was Fiora here, I'd actually punch my monitor and hope it like goes through the Sona's screen.
This is why you have so many permanent accounts, Sovanix.
Okay.
This is why you gotta breathe in and out, you know?
I can't believe that happened. Anyway. Yeah. Listen, that pick would have been big for Michi D. Unfortunately, he didn't get it. So I feel like the matchup on the side is still rough, and what we see now is going to be even trickier for the Fiora. If that Fiora was able to cash in another item, he could match up to the Varus here on the side lane, but you see here, Fiora only has a Divine Sunderer and a Tiamat, right? Fiora is so weak right now, and just you can't even match against the Varus. So really tricky situation right here for Michi Darko.
I was really expecting to see a mid lane on hit one item Varus solo kill a Fiora in a side lane right there, and I would have just not been able to hold it together. But so far, Michi gonna be able to make his way on out, and Sovanix, there's a 60 CS lead in the top lane for the Sion. I feel like Michi is not really having the best time of his life thus far, but there is a CS lead in the jungle for the side of the Panda, so definitely not over and out yet. Sanix as well with the 40 CS lead.
What?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, anyway, a random sonar happened. Shutdown going over to Bootner already. Knock up onto Jonathan Isaac as Robbery is going to push forward. Shutdown going into the hands of Usegin in the Varus mid lane is going to push forward. Robbery goes onto a rampage. You know, son, I find it so hard to cast Lurk sometimes. I just have to admit it. Casting him is tricky because you need to like stay professional, right? Keep it together. But there's things like this where you're just like,
Why
what
it's
the
coming?
fuck?
It's coming. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing of an ultimate. I think it's a great flank from Case Mage, though. Again.
I think
So
you're
again,
cutting out again. Oh yeah.
you know-
there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Back.
Hello? I'm back?
Back.
Alright. Okay. Lurks being made of paper mache was when, you know, showing us how really useful that Sona can be when you have about 1200 HP at level 11.
Mhm.
It's a great champion, true.
Yeah. I'm seeing in Twitch chat that the ult was blind. Personally, if my Sona just altered something that you can't see, I don't know. Anyway, Dragon now. This is Soul Pointers. What? Huh? Lurks is dead, so the fight is going to break out now. Blazing Pandas missing a member. The support is down. Michi Darko is going to get the vital proc shut down, going into the hands of Jonathan Isaac. But look at Usegin. He is running through this team fight. Going to pick up one, going to pick up two. Double kill coming in for the Varus, which means this dragon is going to go into the hands of Wacky Wraiths.
And yeah, it's gonna be second dragon off the game, a double cloud dragon for the side of Wacky Wraiths, currently with a about 3000 gold lead for themselves, and you can see Usajin really showing us the value of the Radiant Virtue right there. Case Maze again hunting. I feel like that's been the story of Mitchell this game, just trying to run away from Case Maze as far as possible. It was a great Poplasm to start things off, but the Cyclone into the backline by so much time. And as soon as Usajin arrives, it is GG. Just look at how much damage Sanix takes from that piercing arrow with the stacks on him as well. Double kill for Usajin again on that Varus, and as well with Baron being up in about 4 minutes as it was previously already taken. It is gonna be interesting to see how that is gonna influence the game as well. But so far, Wacky Race has been pretty much in the driver's seat the entire game.
Yeah, well, at one point this game was really neck and neck. It was 5 kills to 5, and the gold lead was essentially negligible. And it was pretty much only like minuscule numbers from farm leads in the solo lanes, but it is sort of blown wide open. I feel like this top lane. I mean, Mishidaga has done a great job to claw back some of his deficit, but you can see K's Maze has gone, I've got myself ahead now. It's time to play tank for my team. And they're barreling down this mid lane turret. Teleport is going to come in from the Fiora. And we'll see Fiora flanking here. No, actually, it's not going to be a flank. It's going to be straight up in the face of Wacky Race. Now, Mishidago jumping forward. Did not get the Vital Proc. And Wacky Race very, very cautiously. And I really like the restraint here. Going to back away after getting the inhibitor turret.
Yeah, not overstepping here, I think, is key, because this game still not over. I feel like Jonathan Isaac can make a difference, but it's gonna be really hard to dive into a comp like Wacky Race, where you're looking at melee appeal, you're looking at a Sivir spell shield with a Sivir ultimate as well, you're looking at the potential Cyclone, if they need to use it for real, and on top of that, Case Maze are just sitting there like a stone statue, considering how much HP he's got himself at, with 3 items as well on the Sion, and he's just so damn tanky, as well as once he procs that Jack Show in this team fight, it's gonna get so many more resistances as well. Jonathan Isaac with 3000 HP off, he's also not by any means a squishy man, but compared to Case Maze, he is an ant.
No, Daza, Al got knocked out last week, actually.
Funny.
You
You're
set
so
yourself
topical
up.
with it.
You set yourself up for that. Well, I could not do that. I could
I'm
not
not
just
gonna
let that
lie,
drop.
I was really hoping you would catch that.
No, speaking of that. Finally go over to Mishidago. Just what the Fiora needed to get back into the game.
Definitely what the Fiora needed is gonna be Michidi walking away for now, again trying to run out as far away from Case Maze as possible. I think he's a little bit scared, but Randy gonna be opting to base for now. Poplasm going to be available, and there are still tools on the side of the Pandas. You're looking at Randy, Poplasm, you're looking at a potential Featherstorm, potential Big Blade Caller coming out from Sanix, which can still make a difference, but so far you have the LDR. I would like to see a potential Blade of the Ruined King coming up from Sanix here, especially if you do want some lifesteal against something like a Varus, which can have a great deal of poke. Of course, the poke does not hit as hard when it comes to the on-hit Varus compared to the lethality version of this build, but still it does hurt, and especially if you have no lifesteal, can still make a difference. Of course, you will have some from your runes, but that's not entirely too much. You can see as well 1 minute on the Baron timer, 1 minute on the Dragon timer, and I feel like if the side of Wacky Race end up getting this Baron buff, I feel like they're strong enough to try and on it.
Yeah, it's a great Wacky Race. Their carries are in such a good spot here. There's assuming someone missed a cannon. 3 items completed for both the Varus and the Sivir. Obviously, 3 items completed for Sanix, but Randy lacking behind on that one. And I mean, more importantly, Mishidago is 2.5 items to 3.5 of K's Maze on the Sun. And Daisa, I have to ask you, how does, because when I was playing, I got Azir like maybe once in a split. This guy gets signed every game as Sanix is going to get jumped on. The Paranoia gets popped to block some vision, and Jonathan Isaac is going to go in. Great restraint from him as he backs away slowly from the bush. And now Wacky Race, they could be in a sticky situation as Mishidako is looking for the flank. But, oh my god, this Fiora is so goddamn weak. And I'm not sure if Mishidako can do much on the flank here as the fight is going to break out. Pop Blossom onto the Cyclone Wukong clone. But the Wukong is going to go down. Sanix is going to pick up that kill. Blazing Pandas, this could be exactly what they need. But a beautiful arrow piercing the heart of Blazing Pandas as he said, and he's going to push forward now. Lurk is going to try and play what he can, but the Sona is just too... Another arrow doing so much against the Pandas back line as they are forced to run away. Wacky Race now, they get themselves priority on the Dragon. This could be soul point for them. The fight was looking good for Pandas, but instead Usejin on the Varus with the help of Elrat turn it around and get themselves soul point.
I think that's the best look the Pandas have had thus far in this game, and again off a great Pop Blossom coming out from Randy to start things off. And this is, I think, what the side of Pandas need. They need to create chaos. A straight up front to back 5v5 is not gonna work. You cannot cut down K's Maze with the tools you have at your disposal, but they're going for the sneaky Baron. Summonix, this could be the move.
Yeah, they started up the Baron. Teleport is going to come through. A little bit of a desperation play as they've chain lost many team fights. Lurg is going to dodge away from the Scion ultimate. Baron already secured. Now, Robbery being brought to low HP. Bootner is already going to finish off the Nico. And look at the damage. Jonathan Isaac and Sanix are doing so much work in the back line. Bootner is down, but look who's alive. It's Usejin doing the DPS arrow after arrow. Robbery's going to get the kill crown on Mishidako. K's Maze with the double kill. And it's going to be Wacky Race winning the team fight, and this could be the end of the game.
I think it's the end of the game. It was a great attempt from the side of Blazing Pandas. You're not gonna get any better as the time continues. So this was your chance to try and get the Baron. They end up getting the Baron, but for the 5 members, it's not gonna be worth it. Not only the 5 members, you could be trading the Baron for your Nexus of Summonix. There is one in Hibori down. They're looking for the Nexus Towers. They're looking to face Gucci in the finals.
They're looking to end the game. The unstoppable onslaught comes in from K's Maze, and the living will end because there's no one alive for Pandas, and the only thing for Pandas is going to be the living flame. But in World of Warcraft, as they bow out in the SLE, Wacky Race book their ticket in the grand finals. Welcome. They match up against Gucci Yin.
Gucci Yin versus Wacky Race in the grand finals, 3-1, and no game 5 for the side of the Pandas. The Silver Scrapes are gonna be playing, and Summonix, this is, I think, the matchup that a lot of people were looking for as early on as we were. This was the matchup that a lot of people were expecting that we would get, and it all started from Wacky Race taking on the Beast team, knocking out Revel Lynx, the top people in the standing of the regular season, going up against the Blazing Pandas, taking a loss, going to the lower bracket semifinals, beating out Vidagen in what I would argue was the most competitive series we've had thus far, and now beating out Blazing Pandas 3-1, and it is gonna be Gucci Yin versus Wacky Race in the final, Summonix, and this is a matchup I'm so excited to play.
I'm so excited for 2 red teams in the finals, and yeah, I'm seeing in chat Savage is mentioning that this is scripted because, first of all, many storylines to talk about. Bootner against Sheffer, those guys have been talking with each other in the SLE Discord back and forth throughout the whole split. These two faced up against each other in week 1, let's not forget, and the result of that was a draw. It was 1-1. The key thing to know is back then, Gucci Yin, they didn't have Sench, it was Paka, the sub-top laner playing, and I mean, we'll have to see the scheduling, but I'm assuming Gucci Yin will be able to field their starting top laner this time around, and I think Let's not forget what Elrat has done to this to the league and his career in the SLE. Because the last time he was at a grand finals, it was against Good Chi. It came from the lower bracket. It was the exact same story. And now Elrat has a chance to conquer his demons and rewrite his past and take over that Good Chi dynasty and put his name down and list himself as one of the SLE winners.
And again, there is gonna be no defending champions Villagin was knocked out earlier on. No one to defend their crown out of last split, and it is gonna be, no matter who wins, a new team crowned to win split 5. But Sovanix, I'm gonna need to get your predictions for this match because I feel like this can, in my opinion, go either way. I think both of these teams have had such strong moments, and such strong moments we've seen earlier on in regular season. The things we've seen earlier on in as well as the playoffs. But I need to get your prediction for this.
Oh, it's going to be so hard to predict. Honestly, I'm a sucker for storylines, and if Elrat is able to win, I don't like predicting against my own team. I'm going to be unbiased here. I mean, if you ask me in private, you know my answer, but I'm on stream, so I'm going to say this answer. I think the I think the storyline is set up so perfectly for Elrat to, as I said, conquer his past. Last time he was completing the miracle run, the narrative there was a Cinderella story, just to arrive to the grand finals all hyped up, practiced and ready, and then just got 3-0'd into the dirt. Sorry for that, buddy. But this time around, he's got a new roster. He wasn't in charge of BLM back then. He's in charge. He is the captain of Wacky Race, and it's in his hands, his destiny. And I think the storyline is just too good to pass up on that. So yeah, I'm gonna go for him to get the dub. Go on, lad.
I think that's definitely fair, and I'm not hoping for a shutout. I'm not hoping for a 3-0. I hope for 5 competitive, 5
Hell yeah.
solid games out of these both two teams. But Sovanix, you mentioned a name. You mentioned Elrad, if I'm not completely mistaken, and I do see Elrad in the waiting room, waiting
Ooh.
to come in here for the winners interview. So we're gonna head ourselves to a short little break here while we get ourselves set up for Mr. Elrad to join us. So we'll see you soon. Don't go anywhere.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our Gloria to live forever. Bring down the dark regime and know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the winners interview. We are joined with the captain and support of Wacky Race, Elrat. Congratulations on your win and getting yourself once again to the grand finals of the SLE. This is your second time. How does it feel with your upcoming matchup against Good Cheating?
I mean, it feels great being in the finals, but I'm not the captain of my own team. I may be the captain in game, but our old man in the mid lane is still our captain. So,
Okay.
I mean, and I hope this finals will be more interesting than the last finals I played. The last finals I played were rough. That's all I can say.
Yeah, well, you've got the learnings of coming from a momentum, lower bracket run up against a team that are seen as the favorites. And, at the time, a lot of people were saying, BLM, they could take down the Goliath of Good Chi at the time. And it ended up in a very one-sided series. What learnings do you have from that scenario that you can take going into this position?
I mean, I know how it feels to play in the finals and also being down in the finals. Also, momentum is pretty hard because if you lose one game, that's what I noticed today. Our mood was pretty down after game 2. And right now, and
Hello?
Hello? Have we lost connection to Elrat?
no, hello? Can you
Oh,
hear me?
hey.
Hello, hello,
Okay.
hey, welcome
And I need
back.
to answer again. Okay.
Yeah, say it
Um,
one more time. Read the
yeah.
script again. Yeah.
Okay. I played Gucci once, and I think momentum is very hard to get if you lose one game. For example, after game 2 today, we're pretty down. But I think I have a better roster now. We have our own identity, like the last time we played. But I think we can't be target banned right now because we have too much picks.
Yeah, I do actually agree. I think you are better equipped to go into this final than the previous one, especially with the Wacky Reds team you have here. And I want to ask because with the performances that your, well, I guess I get on paper captain and old man, as you say in the mid lane, he's really been stepping up because last split, I think if you go back and look at stats or speak to people, a lot of people said he was just the worst mid in the league, like worst performing at least. And he's come into this split. He's a finalist. He's been outperforming players like Rain D, the solo kills he got in game 3, basically outfarming him in every matchup. What's it been like, and how have you helped your mid laner improve this much this split?
I think that we finally got an understanding on how to play together and respect like gangs. Because I remember last season he had the most deaths in like on mid lane, or I think in the whole league. And we just started understanding how to respect junglers, how to play together, and don't lose too hard in the early game because that's our biggest struggle. Because then yeah, hello.
Have we
Oh,
lost Elrat again?
do you want to repeat your answer?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think that last season he had the most deaths, and we slowly started getting a feeling how to play together and not losing every early game so hard that we can't play the games. And that helped him really to step up in the mid and late game where we can help him or peel for him.
Oh, lovely answer. We love seeing the progression of Usage. Desa, have you got any questions for Elrat?
Yeah, I've got a couple. I feel like his Wi-Fi might not last too long, so I'll try to keep it short. But first of all, congratulations to you for punching your ticket into the grand final versus Gucci Yin. And you did say your mood tended to be a little bit down after losing that second game. Who's the general person in your team who you would say brings the mood up when it is down? Or do you think it is overall just your entire team, or is there someone special who's always full of rainbows and sunshine?
I don't know. It feels like after a game when we are down, we just all go for pause, mental reset, and then we start thinking about the game again. And from then on, the mood starts going up. But I know that my teammates get a lot of lovely messages, and that's I'm really happy for them. So thank you for the person who sends them. Yeah.
You know who you are, you know who you are. And of course, you did mention a little bit on the break, I do believe, when we dragged you in here about the matchup in the top lane. Kazme saying he wanted to go up against Fiora. Is the Fiora something you expected Michidi to go for? Is it something that you expected him to pick, or was this sort of a surprise to you?
We know he could play it. We also knew he had like 3 champs: the Gwen, the Camille, and the GP, but he wouldn't play the GP against Sion because last time he got really rolled, so he picked Cassandra twice. And there was also the opportunity to play Fiora, and my top laner was really happy when he locked in Fiora because he loves to play skill matchups on Sion because I think he's the better player in that matchup because he has so much experience.
I mean, yeah, in case versus Sion is something that me and Sovanix praised very highly ever since that game number 1. It is something that he sort of knows the ins and outs of. And I do need to ask about that game too, because we did see that it didn't, or it did kind of, like you said, give you guys a little bit of a mental deficit. Were you ever sort of worried about losing the series as a whole after game number 2?
I think I was worried at the beginning because we already lost the best of 5 against them. But after game 1, I was confident that we could win. But after in game 2, they like added some draft mistakes. But in game 3 and 4, I think we found really good solutions to the problems we had in the game 2 draft. Because we forced them to ban Ivern because we won in game 3 with them, and then we could play double ADC twice, which helps a lot because my mid laner was the former ADC main, and his mages are not the best. So if he comes back to playing ADC, that's really good.
Yeah, definitely so. And you did bring up the earlier series where you did end up losing to them in the playoffs. And I do need to ask, do you think that do you let those sort of things as a team influence you mentally? Losing a series to a team that you now have to go up against, or had to, I suppose, go up against again. Do you think that is something you as a team that bothers you, or are you able to sort of just move past it?
I think we can look past that because like every time we play now, I'm like, hey, let's have fun while playing because like this run is so like I have so much fun playing and I don't want to ruin that because we lose to whoever. And it was such a good run for like the first time I play in this team. And we have so much to improve as well. So we just enjoy our time, even if we get tilted sometimes. But the most important part is like that we have fun while playing, and then we kind of win by default. That's my feeling.
It is good to hear the positive vibes are going around, and of course, it is good to hear as well that you guys have a good time and a fun time, despite it being a competitive environment that you guys are participating in. And are you sort of expecting any score predictions out of your grand finals against Gucci? I know you guys have faced off in the past before, but do you have any sort of score lines you want to bring up on stream? Any official predictions you want to make, or do you want to keep it sort of a secret for now?
I just want to make one prediction, and my prediction is gonna be that I hope I win one game at least, because then I can say that I finally, yeah, overcome my demons because I never won an official game against Gucci. Because the first time we played this season, I wasn't
right.
even here,
Oh.
so they played without Senj and we played without me. So let's see how it
Oh.
pays off.
It's like the Goliaths returning to the scene. Yeah.
Definitely the alpha's coming out. But yeah, I think that's for me gonna be everything from my end, Sovanik. So do you have any final words to Elbert before we kick him out?
Well, I want to just give you a massive congratulations on reaching finals once again. It's not a feat that everyone can do, and it's definitely something you should be proud of. And I'm proud of you as well. And I hope you join my arena lobby after this interview. But yeah, for now, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on making grand finals again. You thoroughly deserve it. And I will well, I'll see you in the finals. I don't know if his Discord died or
I think his Discord's done.
I think his Discord died. Anyway,
Okay, well, it's fine.
yeah. Well, Data, that's the stage. The stage is set. Gidgeon will face Wacky Rates in the grand finals. I'm not gonna ask you for predictions now because I'm sure we'll get to that once. Well, during the grand finals themselves. But Data, do you have any initial thoughts for what the finals could look like?
I think this to me is when I look at the teams who could have been here. When I look at teams like in Enland, when I look at teams like Interstellar, Black Lotus, we started Split 5 with 22 teams. This, if I recall correctly, has been the biggest amount of teams we've had in any split so far. I think the split thus far has been amazing. I think it's given us some great content. I think it's given us some really, really good moments. And it's led us here. It's led us to the grand finals between Gucci and Wacky Race. And I think for the series overall, it is nothing but excitement for me. It is nothing but positive feelings heading into it. And I think for me, it's gonna be really, really exciting. But you're definitely right, Somonix. I'm not gonna make any official predictions, at least for now.
Yeah,
We'll see when we get there.
tough one to predict, and I'm excited for it. But yeah, we will close out today, and salutes to Blazing Pandas for a fantastic split. But rest silently, strong warrior. You can go and proceed with your World of Warcraft shenanigans as well. The SLE does continue with the grand finals of Gucci against Wacky Rates very, very soon. Not sure when that will be, but I'm sure we will definitely bring you a live broadcast of that. As Dasa, thank you so much for joining me on the cast of this series. Thank you, Pepper, as per usual, for being an amazing producer, and thank you all for watching. We'll see you at the grand finals.
Bye.
Bye.